Did you get to save? You didn't get to save it?
Nope.
Oh man, that was good too.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, I wish you got to save it because that history lesson is, oh man,
That
it
was
was so
powerful.
good.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really dope because she was spitting some facts, and I wanted to hear more about her story though.
Right. Hopefully she come back. While we wait for Aisha Hall and we wait for Malika to come back, I want to say this. It was 150 people in the room. I want to say this when all 150. I will repeat it. But what we're gonna do from now on, so we don't gotta go through this. Hold on. Who's this coming up? Oh, there she go. All right, she's coming back on.
Oh,
Malika, if
good.
you there, send it live back in. I'm gonna wait till we get more people in here so I can make this announcement. Wait till
Yeah.
we get more people in
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Oh, is that Malika? Yeah, there she go. Okay.
I follow Malika. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she stopped by once in a blue, and drop her,
Yeah.
little
She's
truth bombs, her little positiveness. I love it. I
yeah.
love it. Okay, so right now we got 111 people back in here. As we wait for more people to come in, I'm gonna make this announcement. What me and Balance are gonna do from now on, instead of going live on Instagram, we're gonna go live at least once a week on YouTube. We're gonna switch the platform over,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do a Zoom. So you see how it's 4 of us on here now. We're gonna do a Zoom. I'm gonna have the Zoom link in my Instagram bio where you guys gonna be able to come on and tap in on a Zoom link, and it can be more than 4 of us. We're gonna control it to where it ain't too crazy, too many
Yeah.
voices talking over each other. But
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to watch us live on YouTube, and you'll be able to click the Zoom link and come in live with us. So we don't got to go through this no more. So we could
Yeah.
talk a little, even though YouTube does the censoring also, but we could talk a little more freely on the
It's
Zoom
not
link.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like this. Instagram is just OD, zap, 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 zap.
It
You
trips
know what I'm saying? So
me out though, because it's like
These motherfuckers are feds.
Yeah.
they indoctrinate so many people to be down with the bullshit so fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, these
Insta feds.
are run by people, by individuals. How do you get to an individual's head like that? You know what I mean? Like to even want to create these programs that stop truth. Like, don't you
Yeah.
want truth? These are employees. These aren't billionaires. These are like the people that own these big giant companies. They're not, doing these little intricate little things. These are people they hire to do this stuff. Like it's like the
exactly.
person, you know what I mean? That's like taking the pen and checking it to see if the dollar is real. Like, why you give a fuck? You know what I mean?
Right?
Dollar.
Word.
Oh, well, I did. They asked me in the question box. I didn't put the badges up. I feel like I came back without the badges because I feel like if you sometimes when the badges is there, they zap it more because yeah. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna come back on without the badges. Hopefully, we get to talk freely. But we're gonna be moving to YouTube, and from YouTube we'll be moving to other platforms too. But we're gonna start on YouTube. Yo, Balance, what day we doing this?
ASAP Rocky, let's get it done. Like I keep telling you to just
So,
turn the
you
camera
know
on.
what?
Let's
So
go.
we're gonna pick a day right now for the whole live to hear us,
It
and we
should
gotta
be
stick
more
to
than
it.
one day a week.
I gotta make
Like,
sure I get a nap in before.
I know he likes to go live late. I don't know why.
Well, I started at 10 o'clock today. That's still late. I started at
early.
10.
No, that's early
So
today
grateful.
for you. That's early.
So I'm gonna try to
right?
start. I'm gonna try to bring them in early. Most of the
Because
time.
I can't hang with you till 5, 6 a.m.
Yeah, I'll be out. So we gonna start that. We gonna start Sunday. I'm putting you on blast. Put myself on blast. Sunday, y'all. With the Zoom link will be in my bio, and you'll be able to jump on with us. We gonna control it though.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Sunday.
Yeah.
What time, Hocus? What time, Hocus?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
10 Eastern time. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 Eastern on Sunday. So before Aisha, if you don't mind, before you came back on, Balance was saying she would love to hear more of your story.
Yes.
Me too.
Me
I know it's
too.
on BET. Tell us where to watch it again, and then just give us a little bit, and we'll go watch the rest on BET to support.
Okay, yeah, sure. Y'all can watch it on BT. Just go to American Gangster Trap Queens, and I'm season 1, episode 6. So you just put it, or you could search Aisha Hall, or you could Google or YouTube. It comes up. But you gotta probably watch it on like you could do Amazon Prime, or if you do BT, you probably need the BT app, or you gotta have BT on your home TV. Or you could watch it on demand. But basically, in a nutshell. So I used to be like heavy in the mortgage world when I was young. I was like 19. I was 19. I was actually 17. I was a telemarketer. And then when I turned 18, I became a loan officer. By the time I turned 19, I bought my first house because I was doing the mortgages. I knew what to do. So I bought a house and I was working, I was an underwriter. That's just like my financial background or whatever. So I got real into the mortgage game heavy. But when I started working for myself as an underwriter, this was like my entry to the dark side. This dude hit me up and said he needed $4 million in a loan. And I said, I don't have a lender that's gonna give you $4 million. You're gonna have to go to a hard money lender. And he was like, I need it now. I'm like, well, what's you so adamant for? Like, what you got going on? He said, I'm in something called PPP. Now, not the PPP y'all know about today. This is it's called private placement platforms, and it's where commodities are traded in the private world. So basically, if I live in a country and I go and I'm digging in my backyard and I find oil, right? I strike oil or I strike gold or something, I can trade it privately with no government entity involved. Now, in the United States, you can legally trade large level commodities with no government interference, not from the FTC, not from any of these governing bodies, because you're not trading you're on the secondary market. It's beyond the secondary market. It's like the seventh market. It's off kilter. So these private placement platforms usually take place outside of the United States, though, because like I said, we don't really have any commodities. But I knew nothing about this, nothing. So this guy is like, I need $4 million. And then he's getting like $40 million worth of oil. So I'm like, well, how are you getting $40 million worth of oil with only $4 million? He said, because I just have to show that I have the net worth. I don't have to actually spend it. So I'm like, huh? He's like, this is the way that private platforms work. They will front me the commodity, right? And I have to only show my net worth. And then I can sell it and pay them later. I'm like, oh. I'm like, wow, well, what are the qualifications? You just got to look like you worth 100 million, 50 million, whatever it is. So I do my research. I'm about 24 at this time. And I just did some crazy shit. I just start calling up hedge fund managers. I'm like, listen, do you want to lend with no risk? And they're like, there's no such thing as lending with no risk. I said, yes, it is. All I need you to do is put my client's name, kind of like an acquisition. I need you to put my client's name, like a merger, on your company account, block them so they can't touch your money, but give them the paperwork that says that they're worth 100 million, 50 million, whatever. So they can't touch the money. They just need it on paper to look like it. That's it. Then they can go into the trade and spend their own money. So in other words, if you're walking into a sneaker store and you want to buy a pair of Jordans, a special pair of Jordans that cost $2,500, and they say, we're not letting you in here because you don't have the money. And you say, yeah, look at my bank. I got $2,500. They say, no, we're only letting people come in this store that's worth $100 million. And you're like, why? The sneakers is only $2,500. That's their way of keeping certain out of opportunity, right? So the next guy comes up, white dude. He's like, I'm coming in about a $2,500, sneakers. They're like, how much you got? 100 million. How much you coming in here to spend? 2,500. I'm standing at the door like, well, I'm coming to spend 2,500 too, but y'all not letting me in because of the network. So what I did was I made people look like they were worth more so that they could go into those trades and have the same opportunities as everybody else, which was a big no-no. And that's what got me my 10 years, really.
10 years.
10 years, yes.
You smart.
Mad smart.
So is that the goal? But my first deal comes along. I have a guy who wants to get into a trade. He said, I got $1 million that I want to spend, but the minimum requirement for the trade is 100 million. So I only want to spend like $1 million, but they're not letting me in. So I really need to look like I'm worth 100 million. Can you help me out? I said, I sure can. I got on the phone. I'm not going to say the company because they didn't get in no trouble. I took the ride. The company threw him on the paperwork, sent the paperwork to me. I said, here's the paperwork. He said, how much you going to charge me? I said, Give me 100,000. It's the first 100,000 I ever made. Give
Wow.
me 1,000, one shot. I gave him the paperwork. He went about his business, got in the trade, spent his own money, and got even more rich. And I was like, wow, I did that for him? Okay. So now,
Well, did they bless you when you come home, the company? Shit, but keep your mouth shut.
Right?
they everybody's.
I-
But anyway, so now that what I did was completely legal because I could go with you to your bank, Hocus, and be like, you add her to my bank account. Nobody can stop you. As long as I have my ID and you're there for us to sign, you can add me. If you happen to have 100 million in the bank, when they print out that statement, it's going to look like I have 100 million as well. So that's how that works. Now, when you put it in the trading world, it's a little more complex because you have to go through all these different parameters that take a while. So clients start coming to me that needed that same service, but they didn't have a week to wait. They didn't have 2 weeks because they were going to lose their trade opportunity. So what did I do with my little criminal ass? I went documents myself. I'm like, fuck this. I'm waiting on the bank. I changed the documents myself. My contact bank, I said, listen, nobody calls to confirm it. Just tell them that they good. They going in to spend their own money anyway. It's just an entry ticket for them to get through the door. So now, for these entry tickets, I'm charging 50 bands, 100 bands, 500,000, a million. I was averaging 2 million a month sometimes, 1.5 million. On a bad month, I did like 700,000. That was a bad month. I got an all black. We killing it, okay, killing it. I get one guy that comes to me and says, I'm gonna go trade and I need, the same thing. Okay. Instead of him using it for trading, he goes into the bank and asks for a loan. Now there's a whole different level of banking that the average person doesn't know about called banking instruments. So there's something called BGs, which is a bank guarantee. These are how big buildings are purchased. I'm talking about high rises, that cost 300 million. They're done not with cash exchanges. They're done with standby letters of credit or they're done with BGs, right? And most people don't know what that is. But anyway, he bought something from me that was similar to a BG. He was supposed to use it just to show, because it's not real, because I done changed the numbers. I didn't go through the bank, He goes to the bank and tries to get a loan against it. The bank figures it out. And they ask him, where'd you get this from? He says, I got it from Aisha Hall. Immediately, they freeze my funds. Now, I got millions of dollars in the bank. They freeze my funds. So when they freeze my funds, I call the bank and I'm like, I want my money. So they're like, well, in this particular account, it was Chase. You have over $5 million in here. They said, we're not going to give you that kind of money. We'll overnight it to you. Red flag. Why are you overnighting me my money? Let me come in and get a cashier's check. Y'all don't want to bank with me? Y'all want to freeze up my accounts? No problem. Let me come get my money. They say, no, we're going to overnight it to you. Where you at? So I'm now like, oh, where I'm at? Okay. They're looking for me. So I'm not scared. I'm like, look, I don't want this lingering. Like, you know how people do shit and they got to look over their shoulder? I want to just deal with the situation. Just run into the beef and deal with it. So they overnighted check to me in Atlanta, because that's where I was living at the time, but I was in Detroit. They didn't know that. So they're like, where are you? I said, I'm in Atlanta. They said, oh, right now? I'm like, yeah, but I really wasn't. Went, paid a lawyer. I said, fly out with me to Atlanta. Something's not right. I'm waiting on my money, but I want to make sure that I get it. And if they give me a problem, my attorney is right here on the spot. So we get there. It's a big black SUV outside of the crib. So the lawyer goes, now mind you, the lawyer said, well, what do you need me for? I said, I'm waiting on a check and I just want you to be there. He said, what kind of check? I said, it's a check, but I wouldn't tell him the amount. So I said, how much you going to charge to come with me, for the day? He said, give me like, I don't know, $1,000 for the day. I said, all right. Because my price, is not going to change what you charge me based on what you think I got.
Right.
So I get there. He go to the SUV, knocks on the window. He said, y'all look a little suspicious. This is a quiet neighborhood. It's a new subdivision. Y'all just sitting here as kids. I want to make sure y'all not trying to, you're not no kidnappers. They cracked the window down this far. You'll see it on the show. And it says Secret Service. Said, have a nice day, sir, and rolled up the window. So now he comes back in the crib. He said, what kind of check you waiting on again? I said, it's a big check. He said, how? I said, about $5 million. He said, what? And I said, yeah, your fee is your fee. Your fee doesn't matter based on what you think I do. Now the lawyer's tripping. Everybody's tripping. Secret Service gets out the car, knocks on the door. They say, we have a warrant. We have an arrest warrant. So I'm like, shit, I'm going to jail. But when they came in, they didn't have an arrest warrant for me. They had an arrest warrant for my bank accounts, which I've never even seen or knew existed. So they literally arrested all of my bank accounts. 4 million here, 5 million here. They just arrested all my money. So I said, damn, now I'm broke. I had about $20,000 cash. That's it. I hit up my grandfather and I said, Poppy, I don't know what I'm going to do, but you know I know how to play with this money. So give me about 50 grand and I'll double it for you. Give me about 6 months. He said, double 50 grand in 6 months? No problem. My grandfather cleans out his retirement, gives me 50 grand. I take the 50 grand plus my 20 and I sent a team to Africa. I said, fuck doing the commodity stuff on paper. I'm going to go get actual gold. So I sent a team to Sierra Leone. They do alluvial mining in the jungle. We talk to the chiefs, and we work out a situation where we're going to get the gold, get the dust, we smelter it down, brick it, and then ship it back to you. I know the whole game already, because this is what I do. Now I'm like, I'm going to go get the actual thing. I bring it back to the United States. No fees paid. You only got to pay to export to export gold out of Africa. But to import into the United States, you could get on a plane with bricks of gold in your carry-ons and nobody's going to bother you because they want it. Make a long story short, even though the feds took all my money, I played with that gold for a month and a half. And with that $70,000, really it was 50 because I had to, by the time I sent the team and paid for first class flights, because that's a long flight. People want to be comfortable. It was really only about 50, 60,000. I flipped that shit and in 6 weeks, I was back up to an M again. I was at 1.1 million. Then I was at 1.2 million. I didn't get nothing from the feds. I'm like, they arrested my bank accounts. They charged me with a civil case. Fuck it. I start over. Excuse me. I got a bad mouth. I'm sorry. Anyway,
okay.
Start over.
I don't care. You're dope as fuck.
Let me tell you something. After that, I said, I'm about to diversify crazy. I bought 75 houses. I went and I bought tractor trailers. I bought all kind of buildings. I'm like, okay, this is the game they play. Let me get my assets right. Make a long story short, when they saw what I was doing, now they come back to charge me criminally. So they come and they charge me criminally. They didn't get my houses, but they burnt down my warehouse. They got rid of my tractors. And then they arrest me, and I go to court, and I got one bank account on the low with $1 million in it from the gold. All other money is gone. This judge makes me take the stand and testify everywhere that I spent my money. I do that. I'm like, I spent this here. I bought these houses. I'm telling everything. I'm telling the truth. The judge said, I cannot legally not give you a bond. They are really pushing. Young lady, I don't know who you are, but they got 2 different judges on the phone from 2 different districts trying to force me to keep you in here. But legally, I can't do it. He's talking too much, the judge. So he said, I'm going to let you out on bond. I said, yes. Okay, all I'm thinking about, let me just go get my M and keep it pushing. The problem with money like that is that you cannot send money from Africa to the United States. Can't get on a plane with cash. You can't ship it. You have to move it through banks. So it kind of leaves you open to exposure. So I got this 1 1/4 in the bank. That's all I'm thinking about. Let me just get my bread. This judge just told me I could go get my bread. I'm good. Well, y'all would not believe. They take my ankle, my shackles off. They take everything off, the whole shit. They take it all off. And I'm ready to walk out. The marshals grab me and say, nah, you got to go back in the courtroom. There's been a change. I'm like, huh? The judge already issued his ruling. Now you got to go back in the courtroom. I go back in the courtroom. The Secret Service, the marshals, everybody's in there frantic. So I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm only a magistrate judge. So they went to a higher judge and they came to a compromise. I can still let you out, but not without an ankle bracelet. I said, I don't care. Just let me out. Fine. So he says, okay. Here's the problem. We have no ankle bracelets left in this district.
Oh, get the fuck out.
But
Yo.
y'all gonna see a movie. I'm actually working with this right now who owns the Trap Queens American Gangster thing. Big 50 just did her movie. You know, Remy played her way to
Yeah, I
do.
seen that.
Y'all gonna see. This is some crazy shit. So they say there's no ankle bracelets in the district. We have to order them. That can take 3 business days to a week. So he said, young lady, I did everything I could, but I have to hold you until the ankle bracelet comes. I'm like, are you serious? All I'm holding on is to my documentation. I got my money. I don't care. If I got to stay here for a week, fuck it. I got my money. As time passes. I go back in the courtroom. They said the ankle bracelet is here. They let me out. I go straight to the bank. When I get to the bank, I give them the order from the judge. Yeah, I just want to give me a cashier's check for my balance. They pull it up, 0 balance. I said, what happened to my $1 million? Secret Service came in here and took it yesterday. So the whole ankle bracelet thing was a lie. That was a stalling tactic. They went to a higher judge, overrode that judge's ruling to give me my money, and put a hold on it and seized it. When I tell y'all this money was never in my case paperwork, nowhere to be found, it was stolen. So I said, okay, I need to go find my money. No, you got an ankle bracelet on. You have to be inside at all times unless it's an emergency. So now I can't move. So now I'm inside on a bracelet. I get a phone call from the fire marshal. Are you the owner of such and such warehouse where my tractor trailers are? Yes. It burned down to the ground and everything in it. I said, huh? How is this possible? I said, I just bought this building. It has no electricity. An empty, abandoned warehouse. How could it burn down? I said, there's cameras across the street at the tire shop because it was in an industrial area. Ask to see the cameras. They go to ask them to see the cameras. Y'all don't think I'm lying. All the cameras is disabled. So now there's no camera footage. So the fire marshal doesn't know what's going on. So he said, the only thing I can tell you, miss, you need to come here. I called my pre-trial officer. I said, I have an emergency. One of my properties burned down. Can I have permission to go? He told me no. I said, it's a fire. So the fire marshal came on the phone and said, it's arson. He said, we did an investigation. It's 100% arson. No. I go outside, like, fuck it, I'm going anyway. Go to my car. Somebody used a nail gun and flattened all my tires.
Wow.
Listen. So I say all of that to say, you know, I ended up getting sentenced. And everybody thought I would get like a year and a day or something. I ended up getting 10.5 years, 126 months. I had no losses because, as I explained, everybody who paid me for a service. I didn't steal anything. It wasn't like fraud. I was paid for a service, right? They could have charged me with like document fraud or something, but they charged me with obstruction of justice. They charged me with witness tampering. And they said that I had so much money that I could flee and lead a life anywhere. So there was no way for me to get bail or bond. So I got arrested when I went to court, and I was in ever since. I've been home now for like 3.5 years. But
well, let me ask you: do you think that you got so much time because you didn't tell on nobody?
oh, I know I got so much time because I didn't tell nobody. Not only did I get time, my whole team, they were so loyal to me. They didn't tell. You know, the judge offered them, y'all can go home. We won Miss Hall. You know what I mean? But I also learned the power of sexism and racism on another level. Because the first thing that they wanted from me was, who really ran your company? Who really showed you how to make this money? Who is he? They did not know that I was the one that was running this company. This was my shit. And I gave a hell of a speech at my sentencing. I said, you know, I don't know what sentence I'm gonna get, but all I ask is that whatever time you were gonna give my staff, these is my brothers. I had an all-black staff. They were straight from the street. I taught them the game. And payday on Fridays was $100,000 for everybody. It was a different type of, you know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, boss lady, you the truth. They did not like that. I walked in the courtroom, you know, at that time, Milano Blahniks was popping. You know, I had my diamonds on, my Escada. My lawyer said, "Are you out of your mind? This is all I had. You can't come in here like this." I mean, it was so much hate. Like, you as a Black woman, you are not entitled to live like this. How dare you? And I had a very good judge. His name was John Gleason. He was known for letting drug offenders get very low sentences. And people were like, "You're going to be good." And I said, what y'all don't understand is a white man sitting in a judge's position will look at a Black person and say, "Damn, I feel bad for this little nigga. Grew up in the slums, probably didn't have no choice but to sell drugs. Let me be a little sympathetic, a little empathetic." But a woman making millions of dollars that could sit with any hedge fund manager, that could sit with any banker, you know, I'm well versed in almost everything, you know, it's like you out of your league. We really got to go hard on you because we don't want you inspiring other people to think they can do this shit. And that's the story in a nutshell. You know, that's.
Yo, I still want to watch the thing. Can you tell us one more time where to watch it again? I know, but just for the people,
Yeah,
where to watch your story at. It's on BET, y'all.
BET. You can watch it on BET or BET Plus, and it's American Gangster Trap Queens, episode 6.
But how did you mentally get through 10 years in prison? How did you make it through mentally?
Yeah.
So I spent the majority of my time. In the beginning, I was in denial. I was at NBC Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I was in denial because at that time I was still going to court. When you go into court, you have hope. You think like any court date, some miracle might happen, right? I was not processing the reality of the situation. And so that was the first year and a half, 2 years I was going to court. The reality didn't hit me until I got sentenced, and I got 126 months. They really wanted to give me 14 years. They gave me obstruction of justice. They gave me witness tampering. Just crazy shit, you know? And I got in there and I didn't know what I was going to do. But I got inspired by, I don't know if y'all know Wahida Clark. They call her the Queen of Street Lit. She wrote the Bitch series. She wrote all kind of big books. I was sitting there, everybody was reading her books, and I opened up one of her books and I saw that she had a 10-year sentence and that she became a New York Times best-selling author while she was in prison. So I read the book and I'm like, shit, I'm creative. I could write like this. So I ended up writing 13 books while I was, you know.
Yo,
that's dope.
Yeah, I wrote these books and, you know, I published them, most of them while I was away. I ended up writing like, my best friend that I met in there, Shawana King, she has a book out called Swiped. I wrote that for her. I wrote a bunch of people. I ghost wrote some books. I'm not going to say, you know, I did that. Give me in prison. It's like, give me $2,500. I write your book. You know, $2,500 as a prisoner. Somebody throw $2,500 on your books. It feel like $25,000. So I wrote.
Were you reading a lot? Were you reading a lot?
I did. I did. Heck yeah. I read. I probably read about a good 400, 500 books at least.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of reading, but I did a lot of writing too. So, you know, I put on plays while I was in there. That was one of the things I did. I put on plays, you know, and I made a lot of business women. That's like one of my biggest badges of honor. I spent a lot of time with the women, and I got a lot of friends that if they came on the live right now, they would tell you, I started a cleaning business because Aisha helped me, you know, set that up. I started this business, that business. Like, I dedicated my time to helping the people. I spoke out against all of it's a lot of abuse that happens in prison. You know what I mean? Especially with women. And another thing in prison is the men, they abandon the women. I have never seen something like it. They abandon the women. When I was in MDC, the visiting floors for the men, when I would go see my lawyer, you like, excuse me, you know, you scooting past baby mamas and wives and grandmas and the mothers. The women's visit, listen, it'd be like, that's where my best friends came from. We had visits together. It was about 6 of us. That was it. You got 100 women on a unit and only 6 are having visits. There was nobody supporting us.
Did you have children?
I don't have any children. I probably would have had children, but during, you know, I was going from 25 to 35. You know, those are my prime years. So I came home and I met someone, but they locked him up for associating with me.
Wow.
They violated him
Oh my
because we both
God.
were felons on paper. So I just been through it. But probably I would say that my greatest, probably one of my greatest accomplishments since I came home is this. This is my Larry the London Lion
Oh
book, and
my gosh.
it's about credit. So it's all about credit. It rhymes. It teaches them about banking,
Oh, that's
about
so
borrowing.
dope.
Yeah, so I was like, let me just use what I know. And because a lot of people talk, but I'm like, like, I have a big problem with people criticizing Black people. I don't like it. Because I'm like, unless you speak about the people who put us in this position, then don't speak about us unless you got something positive to say. Well, what are you doing to help? So I always make sure that I'm doing something that's helping. So this book to me is like a game changer because we don't learn about money, we don't learn about credit, we don't learn about banking, we don't learn about anything that has to do with the real power, which is the means of exchange. Whether it's in prison, it's stamps. You know, if you got books and books and stamps, you're the man. You know,
Facts.
and you can
Mhm.
make those stamps have any value that we decide. We decide the currency. So this is what the book is about. Teaching them about borrowing and just having like a better understanding about just financial literacy overall. It's short, it's straight to the point, but every kid who reads it at 5 or 6 and up can tell you what interest is. They can tell you what good credit means. They can tell you what it means to lend, to borrow. Just the basic terminology, and also having like some financial, a moral census when it comes to money, you know. So even though they effed me over, they really gave me like this great platform. You know, like my platform is crazy. I'm actually getting ready to do a financial seminar. It's like get rich and stay out of jail. And it's me, Mendici, Aaron, my girl Gia, the house goddess, and my sis Juana, and we just coming together in a symposium and gonna be teaching, sharing like where we came from and how we got out and still getting to the bag and just like giving away the jewels. So they really gave me the platform because people respect how I did my time. People respect I ain't getting nobody in trouble. You know, people respect my mind as an intellectual, as a Black woman. You know, like I let it be known that I'm well versed in every and anything, any topic. You know, I know something. I can carry a conversation, and I can sit in any room with anybody. And I feel like so many more of us could do that if we have the opportunity. You know, so yeah, that's it overall, really.
Everybody wants to know
They,
what the
they
book
know.
name.
Where's the book? Where can you get the
Yeah.
book and the name
But they
and
can
the
get the book
name?
right on Amazon. So it's called Larry the London Lion.
Right.
Larry the Linden Lion. Somebody type that in and I will pin it. Larry the Linden Lion. This is Aisha Hall talking, y'all. Some people asking which one is that because there's 3 females. That her name, the real Aisha Hall is her Instagram. That's the one who's talking. Yo, you are like
I
a
love it. I love it.
huge inspiration.
He,
I understand what you're saying. I think you know, like you said that, everybody could do what you do. I just don't believe in that, man. I think certain people have certain gifts, and and you cultivated your gift, you used it, and you still using it. You amazing, man. Like you got. I think you got everybody that's watching intrigued. You got me intrigued. I'm just like
You're
Oh,
blown
right.
wow.
away. I didn't know it was that
Thank
deep.
you so much. Thank y'all. You know what though?
Yeah.
Honestly, the biggest thing with me is, and I don't mean it in that way, like not in a gang, but that's all of that. What I do is backed by me being a straight gangster. When I say that, what I mean
mm,
is I'm very fearless. Like I'm not scared of
Good.
nothing.
yes.
Like whatever
You could tell.
I believe in,
Yes.
like I'm a warrior. Like people are like, oh, you a queen,
Yes.
a warrior before queen. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I will
Hmm.
hit the street,
yeah, we survivors,
Bro,
like
baby.
you exude it
straight
the
up
entire time.
100%. And like I don't
Entire
play
time
no
you're
game.
telling your story, I was thinking
Yeah,
that.
no,
Like you're just you're
I don't
fearless.
fold. I don't like I'm just 100% like I'm a G with it, like all the way
And
with everything. And I don't let people intimidate me. You know, like I'm anti. A lot of the people ask me like, what's your biggest key to success? And I said, you got to know that you are a God. You are a living God. God.
Brett,
You are,
You already
yeah,
know.
yo, this is the
You on
fact.
the right
Let's
platform talking that
go.
shit. Keep going.
Oh,
Keep going.
big time.
Keep
yo,
going.
Yeah,
that's key.
big always tell people, I'm like, people be like, in prison, they used to have a lot of shit to say, because they said I ran a cult because I taught a metaphysics class, and there was a teaching metaphysics who was a white woman, and I went, and one day she said, "Does anybody ever want to, lead the class or guest speak?" I did one time, and then I took over the class. Right?
Yeah.
I have like 3 or 4 people coming. When I was going, we had about 100, 200 coming to the class every week to hear me speak. And I was just blessing them on all of our history. I'm like, I had everybody walking around talking about they a God, so they was like,
Yeah.
wasn't feeling that. But, that's really the key. When you really, and that's why I said, where everybody can do it. When people everybody's a God. You either know it or you don't know it. That's what separates.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's where, the power starts to show. When you know it, like, I mean, know it.
Know it.
Not
Knowledge
me.
yourself.
Oh,
Yes.
might be. No,
I'm a God.
You're a God.
Yeah. Yeah. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was raised in Roosevelt, New York.
Roosevelt. Okay.
Yeah, my father was probably a genius. He was very, very. He was signed a Public Enemy back in the day. His name was Prince Collie.
What?
Oh shit!
What? You didn't even say that.
Yeah, so my father was like always. They was calling him a conspiracy theorist. They always had something negative to say about him. But really, he was really a super genius. He used to always say, he was a God. People would be like, "Oh, you're gonna go to hell. Who are you?" So anyway, he ended up getting real heavy into the Moorish movement for the freedom. He became a sovereign. Next thing you know, he gets arrested. Next thing you know, he gets deported. But he was a citizen. He came here when he was like 4 years old. So he'd been a citizen. They deported him under a false name. And then when I was away, he would write me and say, "I don't think I'm going to be here that long. I feel like it's some type of hit, something." Because my father couldn't take corruption. You know what I mean? So he always had to speak out. Always. He spoke out in the United States. They got rid of him. They deported him to Jamaica. He was like, "It's too much English influence over here. Too much." And he was always, next thing you know, I didn't hear from him. He emailed me every day. I didn't hear from him for 2 days. I get a call that he was murdered. But he let me know he was going to be murdered ahead of time. But you know what? I wasn't sad because he was a God and he was willing to go to the next realm for his cause. You know what I mean? I inherited that from him. Like, I'm not scared to speak out. People be like, "Oh, you better watch what you say." When you're on that level, nothing, the attention, that's what you need. How's you gonna get the message out there? So,
Yeah, I love the way the universe brings us
right?
gods
Right?
together. The way we know, like, I love it. Like, I got the chills right now while you're speaking. I swear.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Queen, what's your sign? What's your sign?
I was gonna ask her that too.
I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Taurus energy. Okay.
Can see that.
86.
That's dope.
So I don't know. I'm just happy. Like, I've been watching. I've been in the room. I've been kind of making my little comments and watching. And I was just kind of waiting for the right time to just jump in. I move a lot off of feelings. You know what I mean? Off of energy. So I guess it was the right.
Yeah.
But
you are like one of the biggest causes why I went live tonight. Because you asked me early today in the DM, "You going live?" I was like, I didn't want to say no. I was just like, yeah. I don't know why I just told you, yeah, I really wasn't planning on it. But being that you said that, I was like, all right, I should go live. Then I hit up Balance. And I was like, yeah, we're going to go live tonight. So it's crazy how the energy flow. That's what I'm just saying, smiling like, I love it. I love it.
So dope. They saying she got that Tupac energy. I love it.
Yes.
It.
But I do. So that's like my big thing. Like, I do a lot of shows. I was real close with Fred. Fred the Godson. He was one of the. When I came home, he did a song with me. Like, he's like, "I believe in you, sis." And it was like 38. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do music. But then I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to let these people take that from me because I lost 10 years, So, music is like, for me, it's like the expression. Like, sometimes people are not it's different vibrations with music. So you could talk a certain way in the music, and nobody can shut you up. Nobody can stop you. You know,
Well,
so
I was talking to my bro GIB earlier. He from Brooklyn, and we was actually talking about this. Like, we know we older, we get on. I was like, yo, bro, because he was like, yo, sometimes I be wanting to give up. I say, yo, bro, you know what? DMX told me. I had said something like that to DMX one time, and he said, yo, Hope, this is what we do. We will never stop, like never.
Never.
And you know what? And he died a rapper. He died an artist, right? Like he
yeah.
died rapping. He had an album about to drop right before he died, right? And I'm like, yo, I might take a little break and do other, because I got other things going on, but I'm never gonna stop doing music. Never. You know what I mean? Who put an age limit, like you said, on what we can and can't do? So I say the same thing to you, as I said to GIB earlier, as DMX told me, this is what we do. We're gonna die like rapping. Like, it's just this
Nah,
what it is,
for real.
or making
And you
music.
know that's also a language, because a lot of people I meet that are on the same frequency, they do music. So it's like it's like an archetype. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think the whole earth vibrates like do 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 do. Maybe we on the
Definitely.
same frequency or something, like with the universe.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who think like we think, they always end up. I do music. I'm an artist, and I don't think that's a coincidence. There's something with music. It's like the language of the gods. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
And Hocus 38 is still very young. I keep telling you that. And the only limitation we have is in our mental,
you
right?
38 too?
No,
Yeah,
not me. He's 38.
Oh, I'm
I'm
38 too.
38. You had to
Oh,
tell
you
the whole
too.
world my age. Nah, I don't
You
never lie
say
about
your
it.
age every time on here. No, you say your age all
I
the
don't never
time.
lie about my age. Yeah, I'm 38.
Wow, that's crazy.
The only limitation is the mind, and we know that age, that's just a number. We're spiritual beings first before anything. So I don't even know why people ask what age you are. That's so irrelevant to me. I don't even focus on age.
Right. That's a fact. I
I
agree.
only know your age because you say it every time you come up here.
But you know why I say it, because I feel like that. Like, people feel like you're you're getting old. I be like, yo, I've actually feel younger.
Right.
Like, I could run more laps now than I did when I was 25. If you knew me
Lifestyle.
then,
Mhm.
Right.
I was 240 pounds. I came
Right.
home. I came
What?
home looking 10 years younger. Everybody was like, how the fuck did you do that? I was
Right.
like, diet, the way I was eating, the way I
Mhm.
trained my body. But yeah, that's why I tell my age all the time. I don't hide it. Like, I don't do
Mhm.
that industry shit. We'll go 5 years younger just case for what? Like,
Right.
Right.
if you don't want to listen to my music because I'm 38, then it's just okay. I just don't. I should be more believable than somebody 20 years old anyway. But I get it. you know.
Nah, that's true.
And
That's
how, I
really
was just
true.
looking at how I love Eve. She was one of my favorite rappers growing up. But I was just looking at a story that she's pregnant now, and I believe she's older than 38. But it's like we put all these limitations on people, and they were saying, "Oh, she'll never have a baby," and now she's pregnant with her first child. So she was just saying that, 25 to 35, that is a great time to have children, but you can definitely have children after 35. You can
Well,
have
let me
those
tell you
whatever
something. I came
if you
home to
want.
a different breed of
Yeah.
men than the men the
Oh,
mentality
girl.
that's on my
Oh
level.
my
So it took
gosh.
me a little while, you know what I mean, to find somebody who was on my level. Because it was like, yo, like that period of being gone, like so
Yeah.
much changed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like there's a supreme feminism, like
Yes.
for men and women. It's bugged out to me, but like I
yeah.
don't want to get your page shut down, so I ain't gonna talk about
The
you know what I
alphabet
mean? But
boys, and we ain't talking about the FBI. Definitely, like.
for real, it's a little different.
It is different.
And
It
it's
is.
crazy because you know, being in prison for so long as a female, there was a lot of females that came into the prison with male energy. It's a lot of women that, as they say, gave for the stay. That's real big in female prisons, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have the same effect as it does when the men do it. It's a totally,
Mm-hmm.
totally different thing. Totally different thing. And that's every time I do a podcast or do an interview, anytime it's a guy, they always want to ask that first. So how was it in there with the girls? Like, was it a lot of girl on? That's all they care about. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
true.
but I will say this. I will say this though. The difference with female prisons, I don't know. Like, I know male prisons has a lot more violence, but with female prisons, I never realized that, probably I want to say 70% of the women had some form of sexual abuse. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how much that is in our communities. Like, it's crazy. And it traumatizes these women. And then these officers in there, they take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just a whole crazy dichotomy. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's like the whole, and now they targeting the women. So the women are actually getting a lot more time than the men. You know, there's been an increase in the time for women. Also, the women hold it down, yo. The women do not talk. Like, they might talk like chatter, but as far as like being loyal, a lot of women say, oh, I don't hang with women. I don't hang around girls. Oh, it's too much drama. But I got a different respect for women after doing time with them. Because I done seen women not tell on their baby daddies and stuff like that. And these dudes is getting out because they telling on the girls. Like, it's like people don't really know, like, these dudes is telling crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, I never seen nothing like
I
it.
know. I done been told on a few times. Oh, I know.
We know.
Bitch ass niggas.
Nikki speaking out on the V word. Nikki speaking out on it. She redeemed herself with me because I had cut her off. When she did that shit was 6'9", I was just like, and I'm so like, you know, it's a very sensitive topic to me because I watch people like, what's the big deal? It's the industry. And let me tell you, I said, you can't have mass incarceration without mass telling. It goes together. So when you pin us against each other and people act like that's okay, it's like you a part of the problem. You're a part of mass incarceration. You know what I mean? Because nobody should have to choose with a nonviolent crime whether they're going to do life or tell. They shouldn't have to make that choice. You know what I'm saying? So when we feed into that energy, it's like fueling mass incarceration. That's like when I'll never forget, Fred, he was in the studio one time. He said, yo, sis, Rick Ross will love you. He will love you. Like, he's looking for a female right now. Because, you know, he had a deal with Rick. He said, I'm going to call him and I want you to talk to him. I said, you ain't going to call him and let me talk to him. I said, he worked as a CO and I have not heard him speak out about mass incarceration yet. I can't forgive him. I can't. I am very militant when it comes to certain issues. We would have some really good conversations on here. Because I don't play no game with that.
But you know what's so crazy, though? Like, what I love about you is that, you know, other people would have seen that as an opportunity to make some money and to secure themselves in a business. But you, like, your mind is like, you made millions of dollars on your own. You ain't even thinking about that. You're like, I can make this money by myself. So, like, I'm not selling out my integrity for this opportunity. I love that. I just love that. That's very rare in a human being, let alone a woman. Like, for real.
Yeah, I really want to, that's why I'm just waiting for my opportunity, especially with the music, because my stories are all official. I just want to bring back some level of respecting, like, real shit, some level of respecting integrity, you know, like, I think there's an open lane for that. And everybody's so fake. Like, I really made millions and millions of dollars, like, really. And when I look at social media and I see people, everybody, when I first came home, I thought I was going to be a billionaire. Because I said, if these average people is doing it like this, oh, it's going to be easy for me. I didn't know it was fake. You know what I mean? Because social media didn't exist. I left and it was MySpace. It wasn't no Instagram, all that. So
MySpace was dope.
Yeah. So I was confused.
When I left, it was MySpace. I was like, huh?
Yeah, I was on MySpace. You know, so when I came home, they was like, yo, my friend had set up Instagram for me. She was like, yo, sis, you got such and such amount of likes. I'm like, oh, okay. What's a like? You know, I didn't even know what a like was. It was crazy. I didn't ever see a smartphone. The last phone I had was a BlackBerry Storm before I went away. So when they start talking all of this, you know, getting this money stuff and all that, and I'm like, yo, it's about to be real easy. I said, technology must have made the game so easy. Then I started realizing that everybody was fronting. Because at first I was feeling like, what am I not doing right? Why am I not where a certain level yet? Like, what am I not doing at every? Oh, I'm not fronting. Okay, I'm good. You know what I mean? So that helped me a lot.
I ain't lying.
Yeah.
So you're in Atlanta now?
No. I'm in Jersey now.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Jersey. Yeah.
Got you.
But yeah, I'm just like, I'm glad I got a little tribe right here because it's hard sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard. Yo, this is therapeutic for me. As I started going live last year, one day it was the pandemic just happened. I never went live like that. I said, man, it was nighttime. I said, let me just jump on a live. I'm drunk. Let me see who agree with me. And I got so much people on the live. I'm like, oh shit. So I started going every night. It was like we all locked in anyway. This shit turned into the rabbit hole, and I love it. Now it's like, you know, I got other big things that's, you know, I can't really talk about yet. That's about to happen just from this, and it's beautiful. So like, I love it.
You deserve it. I be watching. I was really intrigued. You know, I pop in and I'd be like, wow, it's my type of top. Especially the first time I watched you, you was talking about UFOs and whatever. And that's my thing. I consider myself a UFO guru, okay? So when I heard you talking about that, I said, oh, that's my guy. I'm about to come on here and just listen, you know.
Well, tell him in DC, he think I'm weird for that.
I'm working on Mendices. I'm about to get him right. That's my bro, though. I love Mendices' attitude, his character. He's just he's like a pure soul.
Yeah, he's very humble, very humble.
He's very, very humble. But I actually met him because Yandy was managing me when I first came home. So that's how I actually, I was with the Pink Panther clique. So it was a group of us that came out of prison, and we were like all like former, I don't want to say former because we still are, but we were female bosses before we went away, and we got together in prison, and we came out, and we wanted to like continue that and let the world know what's really happening with mass incarceration. And they was like, oh, you know, y'all need a reality show, y'all need promo, y'all need this. So Mendices was in prison at the time, and Yandy had connected with us. You know what I mean? So she had come on and managed us. And I'm actually supposed to be doing a bunch of big stuff. I can't even talk about it, you know, these contract stuff or whatever. But I would just say, they thought they was killing me, they actually gave me a whole nother avenue. Like, it's crazy. Like, the whole world is gonna know who I am. And it's crazy.
I love it.
Right?
I say the same shit, man. Like, you know, they try to take my freedom, put me away for life. Only difference is I didn't cop out, went to trial, and I won. And in doing that, y'all made me bigger because, like, you know, not too many people that was charged as a leader of something, right, of an organization, of a gang, come out on top and actually not guilty on everything. And, you know, it just made me.
I didn't even know your story. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, I was heavily in the streets, grew up in gangs, sex, money, murder, you know, Castle Hill projects. You know, got money, you know, did my thing. You know, my thing was drugs, you know. And in 2008, I started a rap group called Bang Bang Boogie. It was me, Cuban Link, my son, Lord Tariq, my brother S1. And we, you know, we made a song, and the song was Dissing Fat Joe. Fat Joe's cool now. Yeah, that's my guy. We was in the rap group that's still my brother right now. But, you know, and doing that, they was watching us. They was investigating us. So long story short, they wound up indicting my whole neighborhood and had me and my brother as the kingpin. Sat on Rikers Island 4 years. And in those 4 years, I read a whole lot of books.
4 years on Rikers? God
4 years.
4 years, 3 months, 3 days. I'll tell you the whole hit. Real talk. My trial lasted 2 months. Getting up every day, coming back to the house at 11:30 at night, having to get up 4:30 in the morning. Like, that shit was stressful. But, you know, in those 4 years, I turned it into a university instead of being, you know, gangbang and doing wilding out. I was still repping, but I was reading a lot, and I found out that I am a god. That's when I found out that I'm a god. It's crazy how we here talking, and you know what I mean? But anyway, I went to trial, and they charged me with 8 counts, 4 counts of conspiracy, 4 counts of people got shot. They accused me of. I got acquitted on all of that. And I'm here, you know what I'm saying?
You a god for real.
Yeah.
That's fire. What?
Ever since I came home, I've been pursuing my music career, and, you know, and just knowing that I'm a creator, I created a whole lot. Like, I attracted a whole lot to my life. Like I said earlier, DMX as a friend. You know what I mean? I got songs with Swiss Beats. I just, you know, Fred the God, that's my bro. Like, Mike's my bro. I just, you know, I met a lot of people, you know, doing music. But I think my real purpose is to be a service of people and to do things like this that I'm doing now. I know this is my purpose, is to help others.
Yo, you in the right tribe. You in the right tribe.
The right tribe, you know, and it's just only right that like the universe will conspire to help me create something like this, the rabbit hole, to build a community like this. Yeah, that's, you know, it's a whole lot more to my story.
I'm amazed. Like, I'm really like, wow.
yeah, it's a whole lot more to my story. But that's I'm I'm a Harris boy. Medici's my real first cousin. We grew up in the streets, and yeah, we
I was just in Atlanta, and we was because I had introduced him to my friend Gia, the house goddess, and he about to get into like the real estate stuff, and he met her through me. And every time I go out there, we always go to like a toast. We always make sure we link. So when I come, I'm gonna hit you up. We definitely got to sit down for sure.
I live here too. Definitely hit me up. Let's link. Yeah, I would love to build with you, man. Like you. I think you someone special. You got a crazy purpose as me, and as all of us here. And I think that we connected for a reason. Like I'm like your story need to be a Hollywood movie film. I think mine's too, but your story is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be out there. You need to. Well, you probably doing it already, but definitely need to make a movie. Definitely.
Oh no, for sure. I really feel like it should be like more of a series.
Series too, yeah.
It's so much, like it's just so much. It's like before prison. Then I got the whole bid situation because that was a crazy experience. Like, and then I've been in prison longer as an adult than I've been as an adult in the street. You know what I mean? Because
wow,
yeah. So like you got to figure from 18. How old? 18 to 24, and then from 25. 35, and I'm only 38. So I spent more time inside than outside. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So prison really was a very significant time in my life. But I was talking to Medicis, and he was like, "Oh, everybody always want to interview me about something asking in prison." And I said, "Yo, but bro, let me tell you the blessing behind that. If you went to space and you experienced space, everybody would swarm you and want to know what space is like. But the majority of those people would not want to go. So people want to know what it's like in prison, and they want to get as close to experiencing it as possible without having to actually go. So people like you, people like me, people like you that have gone, people are intrigued by this because they want to know, how did you survive it? Look how you look. You look 28, 27. You don't look your age. I'm sure a lot of people, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that I look my age. I don't think I look my age. People say you went, or they have a certain idea of what a person, especially a woman in prison, looks like. She snag a tooth,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because people typecast us on both sides. When I got to prison, a lot of chicks was like, "Oh, what you was doing?" They thought I was stripping, all kind of stuff. Because, I'm a black woman, and I guess the look, they're thinking not intellectual, not a businesswoman. So we get, so it's a shocker. It was a gift with me going in, because a lot of the women there, when they heard my story, they like, you look like you with this brown face, you know what I mean? That looks like me, and you did what? Oh shit, maybe I could do something. And out here, it was like, you look like you, and you went to prison. People like you don't go to prison. Y'all got the game twisted. So it was like, on both ends, it was big lessons learned. And I feel like I always wanted to help. I always was a giving person, but when I went to prison, I got a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gave me a real significant purpose. I didn't have a purpose before. I was just I have all kind of purposes. Now I got a focused purpose. Like, they really trying to annihilate our people, these prisons and this mass incarceration, and I'm a voice. I got a real serious purpose that I'm proud of. So it hurt for a little while, but the bigger picture is like what we doing right now,
Exactly. Exactly.
If you could do it all over, would you have done anything differently?
No.
I say the same thing. And I know people like, I feel like, I found myself. Yo, listen, it was a time, and I'm not.
You got children?
I got 4 kids.
Oh, wow, that's dope.
Well, when I went in, I had 2. And I came home. I got 2 more after I came home. But, when I was in there and I really figured out, and I felt like I got it, whatever it is, I felt like, oh, shit, the light bulb went off after reading and studying myself. I cried, B. I cried like, I was really, living a life I could die any day, son. Like, I was in the streets. I was gangbang. I was hustling, selling drugs. I was
now you got your Malcolm X on. You got your Malcolm X on. You know?
For real. And, I wouldn't ever compare myself with someone that I respect like that so much. OG like that, but it's a lot of similarities there.
There's similarities. Yeah, take your flowers and your credits. I mean, it's a different time and it's a different story, but there's similarities, and take your similarities because, you know, there's certain energies that are seen in leaders. And when those are there, highlight them shits. Like, be proud of that. Like, that's the first thing when you said that, how you found yourself, it was already there. But a true God, let me tell you something. People say to me, Aisha, and I say, in what way? I say, in what way? Because that's a very loaded question. Do I believe in a religious God? No, I do not. Not even 1%. But to me, the definition of God is everything. Everything is God.
Yes. Yo, what's up? Yo,
I told
yeah.
somebody, I said, let me give you an example.
Well,
Let's say you figured out how to create an ant, right? You open up your hand, you're able to take some type of living material and non-living material, mix it together, and you make something that looks like an ant. Now you think you're a God, right? You could look at it, you could touch it, you can admire it, and you made this thing. So now you think you're a God, but you're not a God until you become the thing that you created, right? So what I say is, people, we are living gods because we are the creation's creation. We are the creation. Like,
Yes.
there is no such thing as making something. If you're not that thing, you're not God. So we are gods because there is no God without us thinking of it. This brain is the
Yes.
God. And this is what I be trying to tell people. Like, God and religion you don't need that. It needs you to exist. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I hope y'all Bible thumpers in here
Yes.
listening, man.
Oh, Bible
Become
they
thumpers.
in here.
I'm
No,
supposed
because
to
They
have
in
a
here.
debate.
you said Malika, they ain't here.
Yo,
They in
listen,
here.
I'm supposed to
We're
have a
kingly
debate with my
now.
boy Bishop. You know Bishop Lamar? Whitehead?
No.
I don't know her.
He was running for Brooklyn Borough president. That's my bro. But he was in prison. He did time in prison. He came out and he was going to try to run for mayor. But he did time. His father was killed from police brutality. You know, he's a dope dude, but he's a bishop. So we get to going back and forth.
Uh-oh.
I said, you want to open up the debate floor? I said, the first thing, I'm going to give you a hint. I don't talk to people that are willingly turn into vampires and turn into cannibals, because you're drinking the blood and you're eating the flesh. You're a whole cannibal and a vampire. Let's start right there. All right. He's like, what? I'm like, exactly. You know, you all let Europeans come and take your whole shit, like, and turn you into this worshiping. I don't even want to go there because it gets crazy. We're
Yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
to have a
Yeah,
thing.
we gonna go in the Bible
They
study after
yeah,
this.
they
But you know,
yeah.
it's crazy how you make the Malcolm X reference, right? So I read this book, right, and it was talking about higher self, and you know, in connecting with your higher self, it was saying, like, you know, the person who wrote said they gave their higher self a name, so that when they communicate with it, even though we know it's our higher self is us, but when you talking to it, and this
That's
might sound a little
fire.
corny to y'all, but I gave my
Go
higher self a
ahead.
name. Y'all want to know the
What's the
name I
name?
gave my
What's the
Yeah.
name?
name?
So I consider myself a Tupac baby. You know what I mean? I grew up on Tupac. At 8 years old, I knew the whole trap. Like, I was 8 years old talking about, you know, they got us trapped in this prison, never lose, like crazy, right? So I named my higher self to Malchus, right? So listen, I know it sounds corny. After Tupac, Malcolm X, and me, Hocus. So his
Oh,
name
that's
is Two Malchus.
fire. All right, so
I really do. So when I
are we
talk about
talking to
higher
the
self,
guy
I
Two
talk to
Malchus
two.
right now?
Huh? Well,
Talking to
yeah,
the
you
guy Two
know.
Malchus?
And I did this while I was in jail, though. That's crazy. You said that. I'm like, okay, yeah. So there's some type of, you know, correlation there. I definitely look up to somebody like Malcolm X. I know a lot of people got bad stuff to say about him, you know, but I think, you know, I take the fruitfulness things that, you know, that he did, that, you know, his intention. I take that, and you know, because I know he had good intentions.
But
I don't know about
what
anything
is
else.
right and what is wrong? I mean, all of that shit is people's opinions. People have a problem with everything. People got a problem with the grass because maybe some weeds grew. Like, you're gonna find people with problems with everything. There is no perfection other than imperfection, right? So every error or every judge of character leads to growth. So if there's no error, there's no growth. So error is part of the perfection. So when people start criticizing Malcolm, people start criticizing you or criticize you or anybody, it's like, it is your errors in the street that led to your profoundness in prison. Without those errors, how would you be who you are? So how anybody can take away those errors and say, well, yeah, well, he did this, he did that. Well, it's those things that made me the great person that I am right now. You don't have the power to say it can only be sunlight all day. No darkness. A person can't give that. Like, that's not the way it works. There's certain universal laws and principles about balance. And you have to. I don't want to talk to nobody who proclaims to be great that didn't have really low periods, because you can't be full circle if you didn't go through the struggle.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just speaking in response to when you said, like, the people that, you're speaking to somebody who's maybe a mentor to you or an inspired person, and you don't have to defend their character. If you feel that this person is a great person, you feel that way because of their goods and their bads. So all of these people with their judgment, they stupid anyway. Most people are stupid, and I'm gonna just be blunt.
Yeah.
Most people are stupid. Like, you stupid, and you gotta have an opinion, and you want me to take
5%.
back or to judge something that I looked at or admired because you stupid. Like, educate yourself. That's one of the first things that I really had to understand with people. I don't get offended. There's nothing nobody can say to offend me. Nothing. You know what I mean? Because I know who I am.
Exactly.
I don't really care what you think. Either we on the same wave or we not. Either we on the same vibration, the same frequency, or we not. And I really don't care. I'm hoping that you come up to my vibration. That's the only thing I can do for you. But I'm definitely not going to come down to yours. You know what I mean? So I think Malcolm is one of the greatest examples that we can even speak of.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
I get real preachy and crazy sometimes.
Right? Nah, it's beautiful.
The energy is flowing.
Yeah.
I told you they was coming. I'm not even gonna repeat that, but I told you they was coming in the comments.
I can't
my
see
cheeks
it.
are hurting from smiling.
Huh?
I've been smiling this entire time listening
Oh,
to
we
you.
can't see you.
I know.
But she's so dope. Like,
she is
so refreshing, and I'm glad that you have a huge platform, because people really do need to hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
People like you. I'm not gonna say probably. People like you, people like me. I think that, like, you, like, it's confirmation. Like, it's so refreshing. Like, yes, I'm not alone. Like, I knew I was right. Like, I know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, man. We be needing that.
A validator.
Yo, for real, son. Like,
that's how I feel that's how I felt when I came on your show the first time. I heard you talking. I'm like, oh, wow, they exist. Yeah. They walk. They live.
They live.
They live. Yeah, because I done went on Clubhouse and tore some asses up on Clubhouse. I'm surprised they ain't banned me,
I have to follow you on Clubhouse.
Yeah, I jump in some rooms. I don't really like Clubhouse like that. I feel like it's chatty patty, and I'd be like, yo, I like more of this. Like, I want to see you and talk to you, like, So, but I do go in there though, in certain rooms though. I don't just be bouncing around Clubhouse like that. With certain people on it talking, I'll go. And, they be trying to pull me up to talk. I just sit there. I don't be want to really talk too much like that. I don't know.
Yeah, people get real brave on there, on Clubhouse, and you can't see them. They say some things they wouldn't say if you could see them.
You see the black men versus black women agenda.
Oh God, yes.
Heavy.
Yeah, you do. But you know what I like about y'all? Like, there's some people that have what I call useless knowledge. They know so much, but the energy ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of facts. Yeah, you speaking some things, but your energy is not right. And it's like the energy is right. Like, you can know so much and speak it and not come off as a know-it-all. Like, I'm still teachable. I'm sure y'all are still teachable.
Yeah,
there's a jewel you could drop on me in here, and I'm like, oh wow. I don't have to debate it. If I don't agree, I can still listen and be like, okay, well, maybe there's something here. But there's some people who aren't teachable, who know it all, and it's a turnoff because they could probably be very powerful, but they learned something, and because it was a new feeling, they didn't know it before, and now they know it, and maybe a couple other people didn't know it, so they feel like, oh, I know everything now, and I've been in rooms where there's a lot of intelligent people, but the energy is not right. You know what I'm saying? So in here, it's like the energy is right. It's smooth. It's loving. It's encouraging.
Yeah.
That's a lot, because people can come in here and get a lot just from just that alone. Like sis right here, I can't see her name. She barely said 2 words. You know what I mean? But she here, she
Right.
listening, and she chilling. And then when she did speak, it's like the vibe is just right. Like that's very important, because you want what you say to have an impact on people, and people can get lost if you come off wrong. And y'all come off
Mm-hmm.
like y'all come off so dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's
get
great
tired of me. I'm
vibes.
gonna be up in here like, okay.
Nah, I love being here. I
Yeah,
love it
thanks,
here.
man.
Yeah. This is nice. This is nice. See, Hocus, you got to come live. I told you the people love you. They need this energy, especially in these
Mm-hmm.
times today with so much going on. They need that frequency. You know what I mean? Get their vibrations up.
Yo, I know,
That
man. I
walk
got
by
people
with
addicted.
the clown, that's my shit. That walk by with slapping that clown face.
The bozo of
Yeah,
the day. So, yo, I be wishing I could do that in real life to some of them. That's why, like, all right, let me just do it here so people can know. I really want to smack the. Yo, what are you talking about? China, Black China. What you talking about?
oh
Khaki Hope, all
Jesus
of y'all. You
Christ.
see my
I
6-year-old,
love
like, I'm only 6-year-old, but I know God did not. He did not tell us though. I'm like, come on, stop it. When a 6-year-old can tell you that, like. Who you think you're talking to? You must be think you're talking to a 3-year-old, because my 6-year-old know better. So yeah, it's like balance. You said earlier, like you talk to some people in their 30s, you feel like you're talking to a teenager. I
yeah,
think these people think they're talking to infants
yeah,
rather than teenagers.
yeah. It's a sad reality sometimes, but I think that's why your job is so important. That's why her job is so important because you guys are the leaders, right? You know what I mean?
We gotta shape this world. We gotta shape the next generation of thinkers. And I always talk, like, try to talk to the hood, try to talk to these young boys that's out there, saying this person, that person, they ops, man. Like, I try not to judge them, because I think at one point I was lost to a certain degree. Not I don't mean to judge them in this, but I don't think I was that lost. But I was in
I
the
know
street, I
you
was in
wasn't
the
that
mix.
lost. I know
Not
you
that
couldn't have been
lost.
that lost.
No, because they don't. All right, if we, sometimes beef happen. You in a party, like something might happen, fight, shoot out, whatever might happen, right? Are you somewhere? But like when it was like when you had ops back in the day, it was more so like, yo, this is my territory, y'all niggas can't get money over here. It was like niggas try to violate, you got to protect what's yours, what you think is yours, right? It was at least something like that. Now, F you on Instagram, F you, F your man, F your dead man, and then you end up dead. It's not even about money or nothing. It's about F you, SMD, put your man in a pack on Instagram, right? And you end up dead off of that. And it's like, what is this? Like, I was never that low. It's like a nigga say what he want. Like, all right, whatever, bro. But I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I don't mean to
Now,
judge him,
Now,
now you seeing. Go ahead, bro.
mhm.
I
No,
was
go
gonna say
ahead.
those are our soldiers, though. So I try to get to them.
Mhm.
Those are the soldiers that we need. Like, yo, look, turn that energy this way. These people, your grandmother, or your aunt or your sister doesn't want to take the what right now. And if you in jail, you ain't gonna be able to be there to protect them when they come knocking on their door, forcing them or kicking them out the apartment. Like, you ain't even near to help in no type of way. To help go fend for food for them. That, like, so they don't think that far, and I'm trying to help them get there.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's really dope, because we just now really, really starting to feel the effects of slavery. And this is why I tell
Mhm.
people all the time, like, I read an article when I was away in Jet Magazine, and it was talking about how a lot of black women, how they talk down to their kids. They was like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass, motherfucker, all this craziness, and you ain't shit. And they said there's a history behind that. And I don't think people realize how long a half of a millennium was to actually literally incarcerate a people, you know. And these mothers would talk down to their kids so bad as a deterrent for master selling them. So they would say, you ain't shit. You good for nothing. And would say that real loud, and say all of these negative things, because they was hoping that it would discourage master from selling their child. The child don't know this. They just hear my mother talking to me crazy, but not knowing that how it started was hoping that I talk down on my child so bad, make them look so worthless, that master will not think about selling them when they become of age or whatever. So it's like, wow, almost every negative thing that somebody could say about black folks, it goes back to slavery. Almost every single thing. There's nothing nobody could say to me about my people that is not tied to something that was done to us for half of a millennium. So that's why I said I don't play with that criticizing us. If you're gonna criticize us, you better immediately talk about, well, what did that? Because that's
Yeah.
like giving all of the problems. It's like not fair. You would talk about the result, but you don't talk about the cause. You know, so it's like every single thing you could think of, every plight. There's a book that I read in prison that really touched me. It's called The Warmth of Other Suns. And it was about it's called the Great Black Migration. And it was the largest migration probably on the planet of the people in the South migrating to the North. It's a crazy story of how many millions and millions of blacks left Jim Crow South to come to the North. I also learned that the old railroad system, if you ever go to Chicago, right, and people talk about their grandma or their great grandma, they're usually from Alabama or Mississippi. That's the two places they're usually from. And that's because, and in New York, most of our family is from the South, is from North Carolina or South Carolina. They're from Virginia. But that's because when they was during the Great Migration, people jumped on the train and got off on the last stop. If you were from Mississippi or Alabama or Tennessee, the last stop going north was Chicago and Detroit. That's why people from Chicago and Detroit can, most of those people who like a generation, 2 generations behind us, our grandparents, are from Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. If you are from New York, the last stop coming from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia was New York. Some accidentally got off in Jersey because of the accent. When they said we in New York, they thought Newark. So they got off in Newark thinking that it was New York, and they got off on the wrong stop. But what happened when they got off those trains, they went to tenement housing, and what we had was buildings where we recycled the beds. So you get off the train, somebody come and meets you, say it's a job over on such and such cleaning houses, or it's a job over in such and such at such and such factory. You work overnight, we work during the day. So you sleep in the bed during the day while we at work, and we sleep in the bed at night when you know, vice versa. The women was all cooking and cleaning or whatever, and they would have dinner parties almost every day because people didn't have enough food. So they would combine all their food together and cook real large quantities and feed, you know, the whole tenement. And this is how the project started. Like, this book goes through a history of our whole migration from Africa to the South to the North, and the different mentalities of who stayed back and who was willing to leave. Came up in coffins, playing dead, like crazy stuff. We have such an elaborate history and nobody talks about it. So it's like, if your last name is Wang, you could trace Wang all the way back to which dynasty in China your family was from centuries and centuries ago. If your last name is, you know, from Russia, you can tell where you're from, which province. If your last name is Thomas or Davis, you don't know where the hell you're from.
Harris.
Right.
I don't know. It's fuck Harris. Who the fuck
Exactly.
Harris? I don't know.
Exactly.
Who the hell is Harris?
This is why when people be like, oh, I ain't giving my child that ghetto name, Shaniqua. First of all, it's a very beautiful thing because we are people that made our own, we made our own culture out of nothing.
Yep.
So now when you look at Wang and you know they Chinese before you see them, when you hear Shaniqua, you know she black before you see her. We created our own culture out of nothing. So most of the stuff that they criticize about us is usually a beautiful survival story attached to it. We just don't get to see that part. You know what I mean? And I'm real passionate about that because people be like, we got to get our shit together, man. I mean, when your family couldn't read or write for 400 years and it was illegal, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some negative thing that happened. You know, maybe when you take something away from somebody, what do? We usually say, well, shit, I don't need it anyway. Because either you're going to get depressed because you can't read and write, or you're going to say, fuck a book, forget a pen and paper, I don't need it anyway. So it's not like we're dumb or we don't want to be educated. When they say, hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. Yeah, literally, because we weren't allowed to read. But the way they flipped it is like, y'all dumb niggas don't want to educate yourself. You want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. No, why don't you say where it really came from and why they really started making that statement? Because it was a real thing that they really used to try to do. So it's like, nobody on earth been through what we've been through. Nobody. Not Native Americans, not the Jewish Holocaust, not Czechoslovakia, not the Kosovians. Nobody's been through what we've been through. So I don't play that shit with somebody coming and trying to say this and this about my people. Who on earth could you compare us to? We some ill ass survivors. You know what I mean? And even the Jews, if you go through their biblical history, if someone wants to even take that as true, what happened when the Jews came out of bondage from Pharaoh, according to their story? They was lost in the wilderness, according to them. When people come out of bondage, there is going to be a period of dismay. There's going to be a period of distrust amongst each other. And it's going to be chaotic until we figure it out. So leave us alone and let us figure it out. I'd rather get killed by a nigga in the hood than get shot by a cop. And that's crazy, but that's the truth. Let us figure out our own problems. You know, that's just how I feel. Yeah.
Malika, I don't know where you're from exactly, but I know us three are raised in New York. I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, specifically Flatbush. Then I moved to Crown Heights and then Canarsie. So that's how I grew up. And I wanted to say we are our environment a lot of times. So we could say these people, you know, are stupid, but really their environment teaches them everything, right? That they only know that little circle, that little project, that little environment. And if it wasn't for my mother educating me, I would have had that same exact mentality. Honestly, my mother she taught me how to read at 2 years old, and she instilled in me how important it was to learn, to educate yourself, knowledge yourself. And she's like, you're not going to get this in school. You still need to go to school and you still need to do well, but I'm going to educate you. I'm going to teach you. Even though she was going through her own journey and her own, all the things that happened to her, she still instilled into me knowledge of self and learning who you are and educating yourself. So if I didn't have her, I would have been, you know, a product of my environment like everybody else, like all my other friends, like all my cousins, like everybody else I knew. So, and I had teachers who would tell me I'm going to be just like those other kids, right? And I knew deep inside, no, I'm not. I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to. But it's because I was blessed enough to have a mother like that, a strong mother like that, to instill that into me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel bad because a lot of people don't have that. They don't. So, yeah.
Nah, that's
Malika's
true.
from
That's
Canada.
true.
I'm from Toronto.
Oh, Canada. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Oh, I think she did say that before. Okay.
Originally from Guyana.
Oh, nice. I love Guyanese people.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, my grandmother was from Guyana. She came over here as an immigrant, actually. Yeah, she
I
was
came up
born in
here
Guyana.
too.
That's dope.
Wow, my father's side is Jamaican. So everybody got a little Caribbean over here going on.
A little Caribbean.
Yeah.
I love it.
And my grandfather, he's from you said the South, Texas though. He got off on New York when they came up there. And the funny thing is that my grandfather that was he was from Georgia, then moved to Texas. My family's from Georgia, then moved to Texas, then up here. His last name was Harris already, and so was my grandmother. Both of their last name was Harris already, so when they got married, they didn't have to change their name. It is crazy. One was from Guyana, one is from here. And that's why you said it's hard to track our lineage. It is. Like, how the hell they both get Harrises and they both from two different lands? It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, we done been bought and sold, and
right.
then we got free and made. There's another book that you gotta read if you ever get a chance. It's called Wake of the Wind. Oh my goodness, that book is crazy. That book was about a family in the South in Texas, who this girl, she could read and write and nobody knew, and she was a slave, and her master sent her to the market, and she went to the market, and she gave him the list, acting like she couldn't read, and he said, "Who sent you here?" She said, "My master." He was like, he like smirked. She didn't get it, so she left the store, and somebody stopped her and said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going back to the plantation. Master sent me to the store." He said, "Master, we won the war already. Slavery been over for over 2 years, or however many years slavery done been over." So many people in Texas did not know that the war was already done and that slavery had technically ended. And they had kept slaves some 5 years over the time from the Civil War was over. So she went back there and was like, "We free?" So the saddest thing happened, and it reminded me, you've been to prison, so you know. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of them was free, and it was chaos. The women was running around. You know what they was doing? Looking for their kids. You see my son? He would be about 17 right now. He was sold about 10 years ago. He was 7 years old. Oh, you see my daughter and my son? Like, it was just chaos. People looking for their kids, nowhere to go, no food. And it reminded me of people being released from prison and expected not to do the same thing. And you releasing people from bondage with nothing. What do you think they're going to do? So what happened? A lot of the slaves got into so-called mischief, you know, a lot of things, and then they criminalized us. But you just let us out after 400 and something years of bondage and said, figure it out. Well, what you think is going to happen? You know, right. So it's like, I just see history repeating itself in different ways, you know, just in different ways. And now it's like, I feel like they kind of used us up. They got us to build up this country to make it convenient for them. And now we're a nuisance. So now they're going to do whatever they could do to get rid of us, whether that means making us not be able to, you know, have children anymore, whether it's, you know, getting rid of our elderly, our sickly, whether it's, you know, neutralizing our women. Like, they up to something. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's a bunch of different stuff. I don't know exactly what it is, but I did see that doctor. She's in Atlanta, and she got some vials of the, and did you see that? I think I
posted it. I posted it on my rabbit hole page.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, she said there was some type of,
yeah, that, and she said that it was actually aware of itself, and
yeah,
it was aware that it was being watched.
Yeah.
That was the scariest thing. It knew that they was watching it through the microscope.
And I checked her credentials. I checked her credentials. I had somebody go look and make sure she was the real deal. She really has an office out there. She's a real doctor. She's licensed. I did all my research. I wanted to see. She's official. So
wow.
I was just like, oh shoot.
Yo, it's so real what you say about our people, though. It hit a nerve when you said it. Like, you know, because I like I said, I stood on Rikers Island 4 years, and when after I got acquitted, it's like, oh, my bad, you're not guilty. Go ahead back in the streets. After I lost everything, I lost my car, I lost money, I lost my girl, I lost my home. You know what I mean? Now y'all just sent me back on the streets to go figure it out. It's like, yo, that's all I get. I mean, you know, after 5 years, as soon as they ask, I got my chicken.
Right.
They don't like when I throw that in their face. But that's not even to say that even to now, like certain instances, I won't explain them all, where they still tried to lock me up. Like 2 weeks ago, one of my little bros from my neighborhood went to trial, and one of my codees, he wound up getting caught up in a body situation, and now he's cooperating with the feds. Mind you, I live in Atlanta. Obviously it has nothing to do with me, right? But in he winds up testifying against one of my little men from my neighborhood. It's literally 2 weeks ago in a federal trial. This lying ass gonna tell them that I gave him drugs. Me. Like, yeah, I'm like, that's why I put in my story the other day. I don't know who seen it. I was like, it's 2021 and the feds is still talking about I'm doing something. Like, I'm chilling. Like, if they on me like I know they are, y'all watching my bank statements, y'all see how I make money, y'all see I'm selling Seymour's health products. You could tell I ain't selling no goddamn drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm not really worried, but I just goes to show you, like, they want our people down and out so bad. I think it has a lot to do with the influence. But when you said that, it just made me think, like, damn, son, she right. Like, she's like, that's on a major scale. Imagine on a major scale, 400 years. You know what I mean? I was just 4 years of bondage, let out, and had to figure it out. And if it wasn't for me reading them books, figuring out who I am, figuring out that I'm a god, I probably would have been like most. Yo, when I was on Rikers 4 years, how many people you think I seen get let go from Rikers and come back? Like, get a second chance. So while I'm there facing life in prison, I'm like, this, where my chance at? Like, these niggas,
yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I got my shit, and I'm proud to say I ain't been back in cuffs since. I have not been back in no cuffs ever since. I've been home 9 years, and I ain't been in no. I've been mentioned like that a few times in people's trial just because of who I am, or my quote unquote status in the neighborhood. It just keep coming up, but I have not, been charged with nothing, since I've been home, and I'm proud of that.
No, I'm proud of you for that. That's dope.
That's a big deal.
I almost went in too recently. So
Yeah.
I mean, I,
Wow.
I actually did get a violation, because I ended up moving to Jersey, and I didn't go through the proper channels, and my man, he's on paper too. So he actually has a big conspiracy case right now. When they came to get him, they violated him. He has a Fed violation and a state case. When they came to get him, they came in the crib, the craziness kicking in the door, this maniac crazy. They come in, his kids here, everything. And they was like, "Oh, we know who you are, Miss Hall. I'm sure your probation officer doesn't know that you associate." And that I'm like, so they now, mind you, I only got a couple more months left on probation. I'm at I had literally 90 days left.
Wow.
I did my 3 years probation, and they violate me. So they said, "Your violation, we asking for 4 months jail time." I said, "Huh?" I didn't break the law. I did not commit an offense. They said 4 months jail time. They pushed and pushed. I ended up getting 4 months ankle bracelet instead. So my ankle bracelet literally just came off a couple of months ago. And I was on a curfew. Everybody was laughing because every time I would go out, I'm like, "Yo, I gotta go. I got a few minutes. I gotta go." Everybody was like, "You want a bracelet again?" I'm like, "It's a long story." But it just goes to show you that's why this probation thing and this rule of not being able to interact with other felons, y'all lock up everybody in our neighborhoods, everybody in our families, and then say you can't be around other felons. That's not even realistic.
Not even realistic.
It's not
Literally
even
not realistic.
realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's not even realistic. So I dealt with that, but I'm also right now trying to help write some new policy and get rid of that because it's archaic. And it's just another way to keep us looped in the system, So I don't know. I'm just over it. I'm over these people. I'm ready to just straight be the general, hop on a horse and have a whole army and just go crazy. Like, that's how I feel. I have to fight that feeling every single day. Like, no country has ever been free that speaks the language of their oppressor, that follows the religion of their oppressor, and participates in the army of their oppressor. We ain't never gonna, we could get as righteous minded as we want. As long as even the smallest things, like I see a lot of people be saying, "Ashe," even that's a dope big thing that we even reaching back and using some of our own language because language is so important. That was their first divisive tool. We're going to take this tribe and that tribe and this tribe and make sure that we strategically mix it up so they can't communicate. You know what I mean? That communication in that language, they so ill. They got us to worship and subconsciously believe that God in our minds, the people who have these concepts, have God looking like them. Like, you know how ill you got to be to make somebody who was enslaved by a group of people think that the God idea of God looks like the face of your oppressor.
You gotta be a devil.
Yo, they ill.
Hell.
That's
God
that's
only
like the
exists with
illest
an
of all the things they did. That's number one. That's number one. So now here comes God giving you your, you know what I mean? Here comes God giving you your education. Here comes God giving you their language. Oh, every time we see a white man with a clipboard, we think it's something important. Oh my God. Like we have this concept of this supreme being looking like our oppressor. How you ever gonna get ahead like that? That was the first win for them. All right, we got them now. They think life, salvation. They think eternity. When they go to heaven, they're going to be floating around, a white man in the clouds. We got them. Now, everything else is easy after that. You go in a black church, my great-grandmother's church, Cornerstone Baptist Church, everybody in there, black as tar. The only white person in there is Jesus on the wall. That don't seem crazy to you? Like,
Word.
even the Korean, even the Christian Koreans, they got a Christian Korean church around the corner from my house, and they got a big picture of Jesus, and Jesus look Korean. Even they got that much sense.
What?
They made Jesus. They look like them. We the only ones that ain't figured it out yet.
Mm-hmm. It's facts.
It's like, damn.
It's they in here. Don't get mad now, y'all. Don't. Nah.
Where y'all at? Where y'all at? I'm trying to help y'all. I'm trying to help y'all.
Y'all start no trouble up in here. It ain't, where you at? Where you at, Lady Hustler?
Where's
Nah.
Lady Hustler at?
Oh no, please.
Who's Lady Hustler? Introduce me.
Don't get
Yo,
me
she.
started.
Oh man, she.
She
Yo.
got her mind.
Hi, Lady
Mind made
Hustler.
up. She got her
Where she
mind
at?
made up.
Hey, they go one king me now. There you go. He won. No, he said
Let
I'm
me see.
here.
I'm looking. I don't see it. Oh wait, it's
King me
right
now.
here.
He said I'm here. Yo, get up out of here, bro.
Yo,
No,
let me try to see the comments again. Hold on.
I don't want to have any religious debates ever again in my entire life.
You can't see it. You probably got to go out and come back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Was there like a book or something that made that you read that like allowed you to come to that point of understanding what God is or who God is?
The best writings to read is Ramtha the White Book. Ramtha the White Book. Gotta read it.
The White Book.
Ramtha the White Book.
Ramtha the White. Who's that written by?
Ramtha.
Oh, Ramtha. Okay.
Gotta read it. It's gonna change your life. That's the ultimate part of our tribe right there.
Cool.
Why not learn African language? I speak for. Hey, why not? Somebody wrote here in the comments earlier and said, Aisha, do you think that black people, I don't know if they said black people, or that we overuse history as an excuse? Somebody asked that. No, I do not.
Not at all.
Absolutely not. Because I don't care what you do. At the end of the day, it's so much subliminal teachings from those that want to do us harm that yes, they can be blamed for pretty much everything, the history. Nobody should be dragged from one country or one continent to another against their will and then told to figure it out. We've been abused from day one and told to figure it out. How is that fair? We didn't ask to come here. We got our own continent. We didn't ask to come here. But we built this country and they owe us. There would be no America without black people.
Indeed. Yeah.
If I start a company tomorrow and I can hire as many people as I want, and I don't got to pay nobody nothing, I'm going to be the richest woman on earth. If I can get people to work as the hours I want them to work, I can give them the most limited resource. I can have 25 people per square foot do whatever I want them to do for 400 years. You gonna tell me that there's anybody who can compete with that, with free labor? Can't compete with free labor. It's impossible. So no, we don't misuse history. History misused us. You know what I'm saying? Like 400 years of free labor, we built everything in this country. And then the stuff that we did invent that made the country better, they stole it. If you ever read some of the greatest so-called writings in history, it's always Aristotle, or it's always like what's his name? All of these white. There's no
Plato.
black person that ever wrote nothing great. Like nobody.
What they call Plato, Aristotle, Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yeah, like there's no black people on the whole planet that ever wrote anything great that y'all want to at least talk about. Y'all talk about Frederick Douglass, but it's tied to still slavery. There was no great writings of people from a people who were, first of all, people don't even know Swahili. Swahili was a made-up language. Did you know that? Swahili was made up because Africa was the trading center of the world. And when all of these people from Asia, the Silk Road, all of these people from Europe wanted to come and trade with Africans, Africa was so smart. They said, we need a language for the traders. So we need a language that other countries can learn, right? So when they come to Africa, they can do business with everybody. So Swahili was invented as a trader's language because we did business with so many people And we had so many dialects and languages that we have over 5,000 dialects and languages. So Swahili, you could go anywhere in Africa, speak Swahili, and somebody who was a merchant could come and speak to you. That's how ill we were. That's where Swahili came from. And they don't teach those things because you cannot kill the spirit of a people if they have a history and a culture that they can cling to. We don't have no culture. Our culture is hip hop and our culture is poverty in America because that's all we had. And it's controlled by white corporations. So we got a culture and we still don't even own the culture. And that's the only culture we got that we know. And we did so much with it. And now we got the people that come and try to water it down. That's why I got so offended, you know, when these outsiders came and tried to change it up. That's all we had. Y'all want to take that from us too? We ain't got shit. That's all we got. We created a whole music form. Yo, we some gods, yo. Everything that they threw to hurt us, we were able to take it and channel it and turn it into something great that the whole world want to be a part of. We even made being broke and poor cool. We got rich people that got everything they want and they want to be broke to get something. If that ain't power, I don't know.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. Right? Yo,
yeah.
We amazing, man. That shit says a lot about us. I love, you know, the thought of that. Like, we some motherfucking creators, man.
We are. I mean, chitlins about sums it all up. If you could take some damn, I call them shit tunnels and turn it into a delicacy, you ill. So much that they was throwing it out. Oh, like, we don't want this crap. Get this to them. And then we turn it into something and they pay and asking, can you come in here and make some of them chitlins? These little things right here are so ill and so amazing. And there's a story of a black woman who said, Grandma, it was not a woman, she's a little girl. She said, Mommy, why you cut the chicken like that? She take the chicken leg quarters and chop them up and put them real close together. And
I remember that.
You know that story?
Yeah,
and she said, oh, my mom told me to do it like that. She said, Grandma, she said, yes. She took it to Grandma. She said, Grandma, why you teach my mom to cut the chicken like that? It doesn't make sense. She could just put the whole thing in the pot. She said, I don't know. My mother told me. She said, great grandma? So they go to great grandma. Said, great grandma, why you teach grandma to cut the chicken like that instead of just put it in the pot? And great grandma said, well, in my day, we only had tiny little pots. We didn't have a choice. We had to cut it. So we got unlimited sizes of pots.
Right.
And you're not even using the tools that you have because you're so indoctrinated from seeing what you were seeing. You doing unnecessary work and making unnecessary time, you know, to do something that you just doing because you was taught without questioning it. How much of that do we do today?
True.
A whole lot.
But what do you think that Black people as a whole can do to improve their condition? Because if you yourself came out of prison after 10 years and still are able to be successful and have a whole life, you got people that have never been to prison and they can't make it happen. So what do you think it is mentally that they could do right now, the advice that you could give them?
Well, first of all, they got to recognize that they're in prison without being in prison. See, I've never been in prison mentally. I've always been free. You know, I went to prison and made so much of myself. I wrote books. I wrote over 50 songs. I did so much legal work. I really just worked on myself. And I had to be free here in order to do that. Most of the people that are in prison today are free as far as physically, but they really in prison. They're in prison from their job. You know, they're in prison from miseducation. They're in prison from miserable relationships. They're just in prison. So in order for them to become free, they got to first recognize that they're in prison. You know, and they're looking at me like I was in prison. They look at Hocus like he was in prison. Nah, we really was set free when we got to prison. You know what I mean?
Yo,
so the first thing is acknowledging and understanding that you deserve better. You have to first understand that how you living is less than. You know, you have to first accept that you deserve more. A lot of people be like, man, I ain't doing all that. That's for them folks over there. They are so conditioned. So the first thing that has to be done is that the people like me, the people like you, the people like Hocus, the people like Sis over here, I can't see her name, but it's to make it cool. See, I'm going to show you something. People have been hitting up lately saying, asking my homegirl Gia, how do I buy a property? As I want, yo, it's my man's birthday or it's my girl birthday. I want to get her some land. Cause one person who they admire, Moneybag Yo girl got him that land, right? So now it's become a trend. So Black people and people in general are sheep. So we just need a couple of leaders that are real leaders that really care about the people to make some moves and the copycats follow. That's the only way we're gonna get right, because people aren't really deep thinkers. People are mostly followers. It's the leaders that are misleading the people. That's why they all over the place. But if the leaders, it only take a small few. If they can get their shit together, the many will follow the few that are leading. So I'm not really looking to change the mentality of our people. I'm more so looking to find leaders that the people are willing to follow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then I was just thinking, like, people like Brother Polite or somebody, a lot of people follow him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is well known in the community and others like him. So I think people, they don't know who to follow. They don't know which way to go. Like,
they gotta be the right person. See, Brother Polite, I like Polite, but sometimes, like, most of his attention goes on to him having multiple wives, right? And that's a big thing. That's a big thing about like what people see when they first go there. A lot of these people don't understand relationships in their own home. So they get caught up in seeing that. So the leader got to have almost the right tune of everything. Not too much going on, not too little, but really have, like, it's an intricate position to be in, because you can't have too much going on that takes away from your message, because that's all they're going to see.
You can't be caught up in the material world.
Right. It's like Hocus right now. If he had a big afro that was blonde, his message not going to be all the way heard. They're going to be so caught up on the blonde afro, they're not going to hear what you're saying. You got to be just the right temperament, just the right swag, just the right energy to get the people to really, really love you and want to follow you. And then slowly bring in people who are just like you and create a whole movement. That takes time, because most of the people are about money. Most of the people are, and I'm not saying don't get your money, you get your money, but it's just all about this balance. Like, you got to get this right balance. You know what I mean?
That's her name. That's her name, Balance.
Oh, that's her name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
You're going to remember me now. I love it.
Balance. That's fire. If I ever have a kid, I'll probably, that's a nice name right there. They might have to get named after you. Balance. That says it all. Like, what's greater than balance?
That's the rule.
Every time I introduce myself, it instantly turns somebody introspective. They're like, oh, let me look at myself. Let me look at my life. Am I being balanced right now? They have to. It's an automatic response. They can't help it, and I love it. I love it.
From knowing you, the name definitely fits.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can just tell your energy is right.
Right.
Thank you guys. A lot of meditation, a lot of self-healing, a lot of eating good, drinking my water, and I'm getting out of the religious dogma. It took a lot of growth, you know what I mean? Honestly, but it's still a process. It's still a process.
No, that's good. Let me tell you why. If you didn't know religion, you can't see what's wrong with something unless you're in it. People say to me, oh, you don't know nothing about religion. You know what I say? I feel like, oh, really? And I say, oh, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. So I go through the whole Bible, right? Wow. Then I start pulling out individual verses. I can talk to anybody about anything if I'm comfortable enough, because I studied it. So I always tell people, well, first of all, I can't have a debate with you if I know more about your religion than you, and I don't believe it, and you do. Something's wrong with that, right? I always, so when I talk to a Christian and I want them to understand what I'm saying, I talk the Christian language. I say, okay, go to John 10:30. What did Jesus say? The story is Jesus was somewhere and the Jews said, we're going to stone you. And Jesus said, why do y'all want to stone me? I've done nothing but good works. And the Jews said, you're a man likening yourself to a God. That's why we're going to stone you. Not for your good works. You're good with that. But you're calling yourself a God. What did Jesus say? But you too are gods. What do you say to that? What do you say to that?
They're gonna make an excuse for. They're gonna say Well,
The
what he
comments gonna
didn't
go.
say, look, they
They
in the
say
comments now.
that
And
was the little G.
he didn't
They
mean
say that was the little G.
little gods, not big gods. They start flipping it and bouncing it.
And then I say, okay, so what language was that written in? Because in
Mm,
Aramaic, there is no little G or big G. So
no
now
such thing.
you want to use new language that wasn't spoken
Didn't exist.
at this time to validate what you want it to be. It's not what you want it to be. He said it.
Right.
He wasn't speaking and little letters were showing out of his mouth like little G's and big G's. He said, you yourself are to a God. Straight to the point, simple.
I love it. I love it. Say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Say
I
Well,
said,
that.
if you really want to know if he did exist, that would be the main reason why they killed him. Because what they had to idolize and make God seem like he's the only God, the Jesus seemed like he's the only quote unquote or son of God, because they don't want you to get the bright idea that you could do. There's another story, right? When this little girl was sick and the disciples said, Jesus, where were you? We needed you to heal her. He said, why y'all ain't do it?
I remember that. Yep.
So at the end of the day, and then another thing, I always tell people, if you read the lineage of when you open up the New Testament, it says this is the lineage from Abraham to Jesus, right? And they break it down, and when they get all the way to Joseph, Jesus' father, right? They say, and Joseph was this, is such and such beget such and such, and such and such beget such and such. You go all the way down to Joseph, and they say Joseph is the direct descendant all the way from Abraham, from Moses, and they say, and that's how Jesus got his lineage. But what they forgot is that they told us that Joseph wasn't Jesus's father. So how did Jesus get his bloodline from Joseph? How's it possible? They messed up.
All right.
Open up the New Testament and it gives you a straight bloodline list. It goes through every person, every major family, and it goes all the way to Joseph. And then it says Joseph and Mary beget Jesus, and that's how Jesus got his bloodline. All right, so how's that possible if Mary was a virgin? How did Jesus miraculously get Joseph's bloodline if the holy bloodline came from him? Where's the connection?
Mm.
So I've spoken to priests. I've spoken to all kinds of people about this. You know what they say? Well, really, Mary and Joseph were cousins. So I'm like, they done told all kind of stories to make that fit. But just admit it. They messed up. You can't have it both ways. You can't have immaculate conception and then somebody becoming, the king of kings because of a bloodline that really is not flowing through their bodies because they came from a ghost.
Yeah, I always kill him with that one. There's no way in the world. There's only two ways you can have a baby, man. Artificial insemination or the penis going inside the vagina. Other than that, it's not happening. I can never believe in no. Or they'll ask, well, you believe in all magic and stuff stuff to a certain degree. Well, why can't you believe? I'm not believing that you have a baby. I'm sorry. No, the sperm touched the egg. It had to. Somebody's sperm touched that egg. It's not just, well, you don't believe my God is all powerful. Sorry. I just can't get with it. I will never believe that. Like, there's no way no Christian or Bible person can ever make me believe in that. Like, it's impossible to me. So don't even try king me now. I see you in there talking crazy.
And Jesus, according to the Bible, Jesus spoke in parables, right? And a lot of people took him seriously and literally when he was speaking in parables according to the Bible, right? So
in a language that they no longer speak today, that they try to, don't leave that out.
I just wanted to say that. Don't come for me. I'm just saying that's what the Bible says. And if you know what a parable is, then we know you learn from the story. You don't take the story literally. You learn, like, I don't want to wake the baby up over here, but I'm thinking about, I don't care, the Three Little Pigs, the tortoise and the hare. All of these are parables and stories that we learn from, right? So why are we really going to say the tortoise had a real race with the hare? Are we really going to say that happened literally? No, but we can learn from the story and say, okay, what is the lesson to take from this story? Oh, okay, don't play around. You got to finish the race. Don't just take time and sit and do nothing and waste your time entertaining. Do the work. Get the job done. The finish line is there. Learn from the story. I'm not going to debate
Yes.
with people or if it's literal or not, because I have way more stuff. I'm actually doing stuff. I don't even have time to sit here and debate you because I'm doing the actions. People that have the energy and time to sit and debate, you're not doing some type of action that you should be doing. And I'm going to leave it like
Other
that.
than running your mouth trying to convince me.
Or
And
he
what
was
does that
an
do?
Anunnaki. He could have been an Anunnaki. Now, there are
Right.
Talk
stories.
about it.
There are stories, we know about the sons of men coming into, the sons of gods coming into the daughters of men and having children with them, right? And maybe Mary was creeping around with, another being or something, because there is a story of that. If you are familiar with the story in Genesis of Adam and Eve, okay, first of all, Adam is a play on the word Adam, as in atoms, Atoms, right?
Yes.
Anyway, if you're familiar with the Adam and Eve story, if you are
Nah, get him.
familiar, if you're
Story.
familiar, right? It says on day 1, it's let there be light. Day 2, it was this. Day 3. Then you get to day 6, and it says God created male and female. Male and female, he created them, and they roamed around. Then you go turn the page, and then and at that time it was saying God created, God created, God created. After the creation of this male and female, there's no more God created. It's the Lord God, right? So these lords are that male and female creation that's first spoken about. Then these lords decide they want to play around with living things. And what do? They take a male something and they put him in a coma state and they start doing some surgery. They take out this rib. What does it say? It says they felt like the man should not be alone. So they put him in it. So not they, but it is they, because they say the Elohim, which is plural. But anyway, he was put to sleep. While he was asleep, his flesh was cut open, right? God don't got to cut no flesh. Y'all just was talking about God that said, boom, let there be light. Now, this God that
boom,
says,
put a baby in the stomach. Boom, right?
boom, right.
God,
But now this guy got to come and get a little knife and slice open this man and take out the rib, make a woman, and then sew the place back up with flesh. That sounds like surgery to me. That don't sound like a boom, let there be light, or boom, let me make a baby. That sounds like some type of physical being doing some type of surgery, gene manipulation, whether it's test tube, whatever it is. Something was done by this so-called Lord. Then what happened? They're given a set of rules, right? 2 rules. Do not eat from the tree of life, right? And do not eat from the tree of knowledge. If you read about the Anunnaki, it said that it made these hybrids, which was half Anunnaki, half ape man or whatever, not to know who they were, so that they would be willing to mine the gold for, them to take back to their planet Nibiru, right? They needed them to mine the gold on Earth in a place called the Eden, ed.in, if you read any of Zechariah Sitchin's work, right? So in the Eden, which Eden, they're mining this gold, and they're stupid on purpose. They were genetically modified to be workers. But then you had some of these Anunnaki male soldiers that wanted to have sex with the woman that they so-called made, and they started making hybrids. This is where the Bible speaks of the Nephilim, which,
Absolutely.
right? So now you have this Lord God who decides to be walking in the garden in the cool of the day. First of all, if I made the cool air, I don't have to say I'm walking in the cool of the day. None of that matters to me. I made it. That's number 1, right? So you're walking around in the cool of the day, and then you yell out, hey, where are you? If I'm God, I don't got to ask you where you at. I'm going to say, hey, bring your ass from behind that bush and come here. I'm not going to ask where you at, right? So whoever this being is asking obviously does not know. So I have to ask, where are you? Oh, I'm hiding. Why are you hiding? Because I'm naked. This woman that you put here with me, she gave me from the tree which you commanded me not to eat, and I ate. And the woman said, and he said, woman, you have done this? Yes. Well, the serpent, not the snake, the serpent said, if I eat it, I'm not going to die. I'm just going to have knowledge and be wise like a god, right?
That's
Be
what it
smart.
says.
That's what it was said. And I took from some and I ate and I gave to him. Not a literal fruit, but something that woke her up. Knowledge. And guess what happened? The Lord said, because you have done this, you got the serpent standing here, you got this woman and this man, and they're being judged by this Lord. And this Lord said, because you have done this, cursed are you, right? You know what happened? You know what that knowledge was? It was carnal knowledge. They were manufacturing people at that time. Eve, that story of Eve is the first story of sex, a sex-born pregnancy. When this serpent gave Eve this apple, he really gave her some stuff, some wood. She got pregnant, and he said, when you bear children, it will be with pain. You know why? Because that was going to be the first birth. They was making these people. The Anunnaki were manufacturing workers. This was the first time they were ever a sex act. And he said, now because you didn't listen to me, and you got this carnal knowledge, now you're going to bring forth life the way we do, and it's going to be painful. But guess what? When you do it, it's going to be your seed. It's going to have enmity with this seed. And what happened? When they got older, Adam had supposedly 2 sons, Cain and Abel. But Cain and Abel are not Adam's son. If you go and you read the lineage from Adam on down, when you go to Genesis, Exodus, later on in Genesis, actually, I think it's Genesis 7. When you start reading about the lineage of Adam, it says when Adam was 100 and whatever years old, he had his first son, and his name was Seth. They do not count Cain and Abel as Adam's children. Why is that? Because Cain and Abel are really the son of the serpent. Because this being, which we all know, these Anunnaki was sleeping with these humans that they made. And that story of Eve is the first story of Anunnaki sleeping with a human and getting her pregnant. This is why when Cain was a tiller of whatever, like he was growing fruits and shit, and Abel was the one that was like basically taking care of animals. When they made their sacrifices, this Lord, he promised, remember when she was pregnant, I'm going to put bad blood between your seeds, right? And he accepted Abel's offering, but did not accept Cain, and said, what is this you bring me? And caused beef between the brothers, and Cain ended up killing Abel. But he been said he was going to do that, if you go back and read it from the beginning, because he did not like these mixed breeds and got rid of him, sent him off, they killed Abel, and then Adam started over and had his first son, and his name was Seth. Go ahead and read it. It's the craziest thing I ever read. It's telling you the whole Anunnaki story right then and there. And they talk about the Pishon River, it talks about the Euphrates, and it talks about the Havilah. And it said, and it's gold there, therefore the land is good. The only people who cared about gold were the Anunnaki, because they were mining it to create a fake atmosphere for their planet. Why is the Bible mentioning gold and it was good? It wasn't even people yet. So who's the gold good for? Why does gold have value if nobody's there to use it for what? So there's little pieces of evidence of that story in there. And it's very clear. If you know the story and you go back and read it, it blows your mind. Like, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but I get very passionate about this.
No, man, no. We love it because we know this, and Malika left. Malika must have got tired. We know this, but you know, we need for the I need people like King Me Now to hear it. He want to come up so bad and debate. I don't want to do no debates, bro.
Debate with nobody.
Yeah.
I don't debate.
He said, "Bring me up. Oh no, I gotta bring up. Hold on.
Bring him if you want to.
No. That's not King Me Now. This is the other King. He's gonna come up here and agree with you. He's gonna come up here and agree with you. What's good, bro?
What's up?
Nah, I'm not coming on a debate, man. I'm just like, wow. I'm just listening. I just
he came back.
I just actually woke back up. I ain't know y'all was still on, but she definitely on point. I didn't hear the entire conversation. I just clicked in like about 5 minutes ago, but she's on point about the story. But what people don't understand or understand when it comes to them reading the Bible is that I may not be on point with the actual scripture. All right. Luke chapter 1, I believe, is like verse 46 or something like that. When Mary got pregnant, God told her that the Holy Ghost will come upon her and overshadow. So let's break that down. The word upon is up on. So that means that the Holy Ghost had sex with her. Okay? The Holy Ghost impregnated her. So the Holy Ghost is supposedly impregnate her. Now, get what I'm going to explain to you. That's what it says in Luke chapter 1, that the Holy Ghost came up upon her and overshadowed her. The word overshadow means it's like a man coming on top of a woman, right? Now, let's go over to Acts chapter 2. When the Holy Ghost is supposedly coming to the world, Jesus said that I have to go for the Holy Ghost to come. I'm trying to, universe, bring it to me. In Acts chapter 2, it says, you shall receive power once the Holy Ghost do what? Come upon you. So get what I'm going to explain to you.
Or
For
come
the
up
women,
in you.
yes, upon you. Now get what I'm going to explain to you. So if Mary got pregnant when the Holy Ghost came upon her, why don't the same ghost impregnate the same amount of women that it come upon in church? Because it's doing the same exact thing. It's coming upon you. So people think that it's just dancing in church, but the wording is what you got to take place. So people like this, that's blasphemy. It's not blasphemy. Blasphemy is just a word, just like a cuss word that they don't want to hear. So they make you fearful. They make you so fearful of Jesus, God, and the devil that you are scared to speak against him. No, these are questions that you need to ask as an adult. So let's break it down even further, right? Let's break it down even further. In the book of John, in the Gospel of John, Jesus says, I and the Father are one. Then in the book of John, which is in the back of the Bible and towards Revelation, it says there are three that agree in the earth, and they are one: the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. So if Jesus and God is the same person, including the Holy Spirit, that means Jesus had sex with his mother because it was his spirit.
That's a good one.
But people take it so literally. Like, come on. A ghost didn't have sex with no damn women for a woman to come into this earth. It just don't happen.
Facts.
And we get fed these fairy tales, and we get so caught up in them, and it's just like, come on, are you serious? From all the fairy tale stories that they add on to it, even with them adding that Easter, that Easter, that daggone a bunny lays egg. We know a bunny don't lay egg. What a bunny has to do with Easter anyway? And then you know that he wasn't dead for 3 days and rose. You don't get 3 days from Friday to Sunday morning. It's impossible. You cannot. You don't get 72 hours. He dies Friday afternoon. He lays dead all day Saturday. But at the break of dawn on Sunday, he rose. That is not 3 days. Now I'm going to shut up, and I'm gonna go back to what she said to verify what she said about the book of Genesis. You have to realize that Adam had another wife called Lilith. You have to realize not only did he have 2 sons, supposedly this is according to the Bible. This according to the Bible. She was on point about the sun. She was on point about the Anunnaki and all that. On point. But what people don't realize is that the books that they took out are pseudepigrapha. What does pseudepigrapha means? Why would God ordain a book to be holy and he take books out of it? Get what I'm going to explain to you. I'm an author. So there is no way I'm going to take anything out of my work, especially if I'm supposed to be the all supreme being. So now, not only did he get men to supposedly write his story, he also got men to take books out of it that they still use in the Catholic Bible. The Catholic has the apocryphy in their Bible. Now, get what I'm going to explain to you. In the book of Enoch, it says that Adam had 9 kids. And he also had another wife called Lilith. So if Adam had an umbilical cord, his had a navel, his navel had to be connected to who? A woman.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop playing them psychological games. See, this the one thing about religion, you gotta know it. You gotta do the research. You gotta ask the questions, and you gotta stop believing, because you got these Jehovah Witnesses that I got them in my family. I show them. Look, it clearly says in the book of Isaiah 45:7 that God created evil and He do all things. So, what is the purpose of the devil? Because if God is doing all the killing in the Bible, what's the purpose of the devil? And then you find out Lucifer is Jesus. Both of them are the bright and morning star. How can both of them be the bright morning star? Because what? They're talking about the same exact person. It's the same person. They just changed the name. That's why God's name goes from all of these different characteristics. But at the same time, he's the one that's doing all the killing in the Bible. What's the purpose of the devil?
Good questions.
No, you know what I love? I just love to hear studious people when you start breaking something down and finding errors or finding, just contradictions, and it brings about question. You know what I mean? Because you asking some questions that, I mean, I never thought about that, about, Jesus sleeping with his own mother. When you do the math like that, I mean, this is why it's so important for these conversations, because it's like, I already know there's so many missing facts. We already know where this came from, right? But it's nice to hear people question and just say, listen, there's a problem with this. It's so refreshing, because people will try to typecast you as just being anti-religion. I'm anti-stupidity, things that don't line up and make sense. If there was something that made sense that made me go, I'm going to go, I'm not going to miss it just because I don't want it to be that way. I don't, and I hate the word believe, you know what I mean? But I don't know or unknow things because I don't like the way it feels. It's a fact. If it's a fact, it's a fact. Like, you're making a really good point when you start talking about like the lineage, because when you really, really look at it, when Jesus was born, what was it? What was his name?
I think it's Herod.
King Heron or whatever. They went to go get him, right? They said the King of Kings is being born, whatever. So they sent him to Egypt, right? He disappears. He does not come back until the age of 30. Right? And it is one story, I think, when he was 12 or 13 or something, that they have where something, so he healed somebody or something. But majority of his life up until the age of 30 is blank. We don't know what this man was doing at 10, 15, 18, 22, 25, 28. You don't know. These are the most.
Can I say something right quick right there, sister? If you don't mind. Now, get what I'm going to explain to you. This is to the men. You're going to laugh off of it, but a lot of people that believe in religion to get sensitive. I'm just real. I'm just a realist. So get what I'm saying to you. Jesus came in human flesh, in human form. He was a man. Around the age of 12 and 13, you have puberty. How does a man come into puberty? A man has a wet dream. So get what I'm going to explain to you. He's supposedly been born without sin, period. But he was around sinners. So he was around motherfuckers, excuse my language, that was cussing, which we know that Peter was a cusser, right? So for instance, right? They tell you that he was born without sin, right? But we already broke down that he had sex with his mother. We know that. But get what I'm going to explain to you. For a man to come into puberty, guess what a man does, ladies? He has a wet dream. In his own words, Jesus said, if you look upon a woman if you just look upon her, you committed sin. So in order for every man, ask every man that you talk to, ask your man. I mean, not every man, but ask your man. Your man had a dream that he was having sex with a woman, and he had a wet dream, and he came. That's how he reached puberty. So you mean to tell me he skipped puberty? How can he call himself a man? He has to enter, for him to enter adulthood, he has to have a goddamn wet dream. That's just like a woman coming on her menstrual cycle. It's the same thing. People ignore common sense when it comes to religion.
Yes, that is.
They ignore.
Mm-hmm. Well, laid that down. I mean, damn, you hit some points. You hit some points. I mean, this is just one example of how off we are, and I say we because I don't like to, single myself out. I'm sure I've made stupid decisions or believed people who obviously were lying, but I wanted to believe them. It happens a lot in relationships. People lie to you and you want to know what you want to believe because your feelings are involved. And that's what happens with religion. People's feelings are involved and they don't want to, disown the truth because they're emotionally attached to it. This the same with history. You don't want to believe the truth because your feelings are attached to, maybe you don't want to believe that a certain group of people would act a certain way because maybe you're a descendant of those people. But the facts are the facts, and you're pointing out there's some very, very deep lies in religion, and there's some very surface lies. And I don't care how small the lie is. If this is something that people are going to base their life on, their ever after, there better not be not one. It better not even be a typo. You understand? Why do you think the Bible does not speak about deep sea or deep space? Why? Because people that were writing at that time weren't in deep space and they weren't deep in the sea. It's very surface. If you read the Quran, right, some of the surahs talk about the creation of the worlds, and it goes deep into, a little bit more sciencey, some parts of the Quran. You know why? Because the Quran is the newest book. So it had access to some of the newest technologies to give a little bit more newer information because it's new, right? But as you go old, the old stuff dealt with information from beings that weren't from here, that these people that were writing here couldn't really understand. And they gave their kind of best analysis of what they were seeing. Like, for example, if you go into Africa, there's some tribes that can, like the Dogon tribe. You familiar with that, Hocus? The Dogon tribe? They can.
Of course.
Straight to
Credo Mutua. That's my dude. I'll be definitely watching him and listening to him.
Why are we not in school learning about a tribe of so-called primitive people that can look up in the sky and point directly to a star that you can't see with the human eye, that took them a whole extra 2,000 years to build certain types of telescopes to even identify that it existed? But these people knew about it before the telescope. Why are we not learning about that in school? Maybe it's the same reason why, Jesus got blonde hair and blue eyes. If you're I can't be mad at them. If you're gonna take over, then take the fuck over. You know what I mean? They took over. They took over every facet of our existence. You're gonna take over, don't half-ass it. They took over. So I ain't even really mad. What I get more mad at is having to defend. I mean, when people defend that, how you defend? Y'all got, what is that syndrome called? Where you love your kidnapper? What is that called?
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. We got Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, even like with the FD said it's all good, you know. Yeah. Okay, and these are the same people. We love our oppressors. We love our oppressors' language, and we love our oppressors' religions. We love our oppressors. But honey, we first got to realize that they're our oppressors. I'd be surprised that some of our older people who came out of the era of Jim Crow, and I got to fight them. Like, wasn't you just not able to, eat over here and go over here and do this and do that? Did you forget? You know what I'm saying? So, to credit to what you're saying, just the things that you're pointing out, the very basic of things. It don't take a real smart genius, Bible scholar to figure out some of these things. It's basic common sense. But, they did a great job. That's all I can say. They did a great, great, great job on us. And it's going to take probably double the amount of time to get out of this situation than it took us to get in. And they've been, and I ain't just talking about slavery, they've been colonizing Africa. They colonized Africa prior to slavery. I wrote a book. I have a book. It's a vampire book, but it's really called The Anunnaki Wolf. And it's about Anunnaki and really good. But I made it into a sci-fi book, trying to maybe compete with like the Twilights, love story, all that, Raven, right?
Nice.
But one of the things in the book that really, I did some research. What the story takes place in Africa. I wanted the book to be accurate, so I got my hands on a map from 14th century Africa, and Africa was carved out into about 8 different colonies at that time. It was French Africa, Portuguese, Germany, Spain. They just carved up Africa how they wanted to. So they've been colonizing us before we was brought to America. You know, talking about, Africans now don't even speak their own languages. A friend I was locked up with, hey, where you from? I said, Sierra Leone. I said, oh, what language you speak? She said, French. I said, no, what language do you speak? She said, we speak French. I said, what's your original language? She was like, girl, French. I said, that is a European language. She was like, oh, you mean Temni? I said, damn, it took me all of that to get you to say what your language is. Their names are not even African names in a lot of countries. No more. They Marys and Elizabeth, and it's just like they are just wiping our culture off. It's crazy.
That's sad. That's sad. It's kind of insane that people jack the slave master religion. That was one thing that made me. I grew up as a Muslim. You know what I mean? My father was Muslim, and the thing that bothered me is growing up as a Muslim was that you had to be scared. Like you had to fear. Like you gotta fear Allah. Feel like, damn, what this nigga just? Why do I gotta be scared of this thing? He that insecure? I gotta be scared. Mm-hmm. You know, and that never sat with me. I'm a God fearing. People take pride in that. I'm a God fearing man. Or I'm a God fearing woman. Idiot. Like, you know what I mean? I'm fearless. Like, I like to live my life fearless, man. I don't be afraid of something that I can't even see or I don't even know is real, or I gotta believe it just because they say it. No, I'm not scared. I'm sorry. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't resonate with me,
I just want to add that, like I was talking earlier about people's worlds crumbling, right? Religion is a large part of people's psyche, of their programming. So I never attack their religion or come for their religion. I have Christian friends, Muslim friends, all types of friends, and I never talk about religion with them because honestly, even though religion can be oppressive, some people, they say they need it and they cling to it, and that's fine, but really we oppress ourselves, right? So I start with people with how they oppress themselves, whether they're smoking themselves to death, drinking themselves to death, eating themselves to death. You know what I mean? It's how are you oppressing you? Let's start there. That religion thing, I don't even touch on it, because honestly, once you start with that, then your awakening will open later on. I don't go there first, because it just is never going to work. It's just going to be like this. You know what I mean? So it makes no sense for me to try to debate with people on their entire world. You know what I mean? So I feel like once I help them with how they're oppressing themselves, and they learn some things and start healing, then they come into that knowledge on their own, like I did. You know what I mean? Like, nobody changed my mind. Once I started like learning for myself, I changed my own mind. So I approach people that way, because that's what worked for me, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, that's and really get to them. That's a really good approach. I'm a little bit more radical. Like I'm like, you know, I get to the point. I'm not. I'm.
You going in and out, and I believe because King, I think you got to put yours on mute while you. I don't know why. It's like it's bothering. There you go.
Is it better now? It could be sometimes when you put the phone flat. Is it good now?
No, it's good now. It was because of his sound kept like interfering. Whenever you're ready to talk, bro, unmute it. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm very radical. I'm very direct. I always tell people I don't owe you respect for a lie that was forced on you to believe. You know, the truth might hurt, but it's the truth. You know, I don't owe you anything, because like I wrote this book, and if somebody doesn't like it or I have the right to get offended, because I created it. I wrote this book. But people get so defensive over something they had nothing to do with, that has been around way before they came into existence, or at least that they can remember they've been in existence. And they get so upset by something that had absolutely nothing to do with them. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, you know, I often wonder sometimes, I'm like, so where you from? Oh, you from South America. Bible don't even include you. It's like you never even exist. There's not even one mention of you. There's no Mexicans. There's no. So you all defensive over something that doesn't even include you. As a matter of fact, the Bible only acknowledges one group of people being God's people, and that's the Israelites in the Bible. They're the only ones that are called the chosen ones. There's no mention of any other race. All the races that are mentioned in there are the Romans, right? They talk about all of these Middle Eastern tribes, right? The Canaanites, the Dissonites, all these different nights. I don't hear them say one thing about a Hispanic person. And they are some of the most religious people. But what they don't realize is the reason why Hispanic people are so religious is because the conquistadors came from Spain and conquered South America, raped all the women, changed the language, and gave y'all this religion. This is why that's why y'all are so Catholic, okay? Because you are a product of oppression, rape, and pillage. You don't even realize it. As a matter of fact, you speak Spanish, and that ain't even your native language. Your native language was never native. I hate to use the word Indian, but native language that the natives of that country spoke. Spanish comes from Spain, which is in Europe. I think people forget that Spanish is not a Latino language. Well, it is a Latino language because it's from Latin and Spanish, but it's not a, like Dominican, Puerto Rican. That ain't y'all culture. That's some made up shit. And a lot of people don't.
It's still white people.
Exactly. It's still Europeanized. And that's the thing that really bothers me sometimes, because it's like, yeah, y'all speak the same language, but it's not your language. You just happen to be conquered by Spaniards, and we happen to be conquered by Englishmen from England. We all are the same, and we fighting for these religions that, I knew it was a problem when I told this girl the same thing we talking about. And she said, well, if slavery bring me to my Jesus, then I guess we was meant to be slaves. I said, oh God, help us right now.
Oh,
she deserved the bozo of the day. Who is that?
I'm not even
She deserved it.
because you know who it is, and I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to put them
Oh
on.
no.
Oh shit.
Oh no. And that's exactly why I don't go
And
there with
this
people,
person is
because it's not,
this
you're not
person
gonna
is a teacher.
change her mind.
This person running all around teaching the people them, and you are not qualified to be a teacher. Like you spreading more false propaganda because you have a lack of knowledge. It's you know, and it's just it's a difficult battle. It's a difficult battle, but I'm in it for the long haul. I love my people, and I'm in it, you know, and I'm not gonna let the stress, you know, put me out the game. I know what I got to do, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And you know, everybody that I touch, hopefully they touch somebody else who touch somebody else. And when we get to year 800 or 900 from the end of slavery, maybe we'll be back where we're meant to be. You know.
and, and 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 I want to say small doses, sis. You know, we don't gotta, convert everybody tomorrow. Small doses. And I want to say I appreciate your message, and just you telling your story in itself, people are gonna learn from it. You know what I mean? They're gonna be able to change their lives regardless of their religion. You know what I mean?
I can learn
Regardless.
more from you than I can learn from Jesus. I'm just saying, like
And
literally, from your
and
story is more. It resonates with me more than the Jesus. It does. I'm not even trying to be funny.
You know what's crazy to me, and I know
what?
probably would offend some people, but I just feel like another thing. Let me tell you something. Religious men to me are like feminine, because I feel like you deriding Jesus a little bit too much. You know what I mean? This is still a male. They be like you doing all of that over another male. Like that's a little bit too much for me. Like seriously, and I'm not. A lot of people might. I don't know if anybody else has felt like that, but I feel like when the women do it, okay, this is a man. You know, okay, y'all a woman, this is a man. But when the men do it, be falling to their knees and all, I'm like, yo, you doing all of this for nothing too? Like, what you doing? It's a little bit too much sometimes. Like,
Yo, my man O, right? I got him tagged. Shout out to O. He probably listening, right? That's when he said this book is an allegory book, got him tagged. So he be coming on here, he be like, F Jesus. I be like, yo, bro. I tell him don't do that because I know people ain't there. We really just want to help them and wake them up. But like you said earlier, and I'm glad you said that, like, yo, I really got no feelings, like no sympathy for if I feel like that. Like you didn't write this book, so
yeah,
why
like,
you feel like if I feel like F him, I feel like F him. I can
but
say that. Like
the fact
he,
not his fault. Because Jesus' message is if the internet existed, Jesus would be right in this group with us right here. Like, yo, I try to tell him, like they gods too. I try to tell him. He's dead. So, you know, or they killed him, whether they killed him just, you know, autobiographically, or whether they killed him in real life, he's dead. He can't speak for himself, right? So these people have misused this man's life in so many different ways. It ain't even his fault. He tried to give the right message, and they really, because what's his last words according to them? My God, why have you forsaken me? If I'm God, who's saying that? It doesn't make my God, why have you forsaken me? What? That doesn't even make no type of sense to me. So I'm saying to myself, okay, poor Jesus, because they just misused this man's whole life to push their agenda. They used him and put him on the level of this God that nobody else can be like, to make you feel like you can't be like, because if you knew you really was like, they wouldn't be able to do the shit to us that they do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they use this man incorrectly to push an agenda. I don't even think that they said not the glizzy. I can't. Sorry,
I mean,
if
I
hey,
can't even
look,
see the comments right now. Oh
I
man.
came home
this what I. I'm sorry, go ahead.
on a bunch
No, no, go
when
ahead.
I came home. I came home, bad dudes was trying to get with me. First of all, there's a lot of guys, what I call bands. Bitch, ass,
What's the
right? A bunch of I didn't
oh,
know bands until, you know, we went out or whatever. So I was the one day queen. Go to movies or something, never hear from me again. As soon as you show me one quality that reminded me, I'm the female. I'm not interested in nothing else. So now, you know, one guy, we went out, he was like, yo, I just really hope that you find Jesus. And I said, huh? I wish I had your little clown, your little
Mata.
I'm like, what? And he started getting all emotional and don't you realize Jesus brought you out of prison and da-da-da, and he getting all teary-eyed and stuff. And I'm like, well, why don't you, like, you know, like maybe you're more comfortable with a man. Because I just feel like a man should not be, like, it's just too much. Like, if you sit with a teacher, like if you met Malcolm today, You probably would sit, be respectful. I'm honored, but you're not gonna be, oh, Malcolm. Who's doing that? That's going too far for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yo, King, what you was gonna say?
she don't made me laugh so many times that I actually forgot what I was getting ready to say. But what I do want to say is that since I used to be I used to be into religion. I used to be a Christian. I used to be a deacon at my church, and like now that I'm conscious and I question things and stuff like that, women that are into religion are more attracted to me, or I meet them. You understand what I'm saying? I draw them to me. So it's like it's difficult for me to even attempt to be in a relationship with them, because when you point these things out to them, they stuck. Like, they see the truth, but they don't want to go and question their pastor. And then it'll like, and I'm a man, like I'm the one that's coming home. I'm paying the bills. I'm paying I'm making sure everything is taken care of. I'm massaging your feet. I'm paying for your nails to get done. I'm paying for your purses and things like that. And you going to church, and then you giving praise to your pastor. You giving praise to Jesus. And I'm the one that's doing it. Like, they overlook that. Like this.
Oh man, so I'm massaging feet.
Yeah, I love a pretty woman with some pretty feet. I'm gonna keep it straight up with you.
I'm just saying, like you say, I massage the feet. You better be praising me, like.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it's like it's difficult. It's a challenge, because it's like,
I like him.
it's like, damn, baby. Like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, now, get what I'm saying to you. We see it. We even seeing it right now to this day. All these religious pastors, all these Catholic churches, what are they doing? They sleeping with boys. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is one of the reasons why I really stopped even going to church. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not gonna say it raw, but you're gonna get what I'm getting ready to explain to you. I remember this day like it was. I remember this day. Let me just say that. I ain't gonna say like it was yesterday. It was just a memory that I wish I could erase, because I walked into something that blew my goddamn mind. So in my church, right, my trustee has sent me up to my pastor's study. My pastor has just finished preaching about gay and homophobic and all of that, right? He just was talking about it all in the Bible, throughout the Bible, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So my trustee sent me, because I was a deacon at that time, to go up to my pastor's study. I go up to his study. I knocks on the door. I think I was taking him a plate or something, because he told her to send some food up to his study. His study was up on the 3rd floor. I knock on the door. I didn't hear anything. Knock again. Then I heard something, but I didn't hear it clearly. So I walks in the door, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, like I couldn't move. I was stuck. Now, the gay guy of the church was on his knees with my pastor. Like, for real. I dropped the plate. I dropped it right there on the floor. I got the fuck up out of there. I said, what the fuck? Like, in the church, he was like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and usually during the year, because I've been in that church for years, like, when I stop coming to church, he'll come knock on my door, call my phone. When I saw that, he ain't called me no more, and I ain't never go back to the church no more. Never went back. And then after that, that's when you start hearing all the sex scandals. See, people be overlooking them sex scandals in church. It be some shit going on in them goddamn churches with them, especially with them youth pastors. Them youth pastors being there knocking them. They be cracking them open like they cooking a dozen of eggs for a goddamn army. I'm serious. When you been, man, they ignore so much. We get traumatized so much in church that we overlook it. We don't question it, and we think it's the norm. So when you get a pastor that comes out with a sex scandal like Eddie Long, they forgive him. They used to hearing this person is sleeping with that person. Jamal, what's with that pastor down in Baltimore? They used to that. They overlook it because they taught that God's told you to give you 70 times 70, turn the other cheek. You understand what I'm saying? And people overlook that. But the thing is, I'm just trying to say in so many words, man, it's messed up. Religion messes you up as an adult. Like my mother still, my generation don't believe in, we don't even, we ain't even into Santa Claus. We ain't even in we ain't even in the holidays. We love to get together as a family on, like just to, be at once, be around each other. But my mother is like, it's just like she a kid. She about 70, almost 7 years old, but she love the what's name. And come on now, we know this doesn't damn Santa Claus don't exist. How Santa Claus gonna go through 9 billion houses, more probably, which is more than that. He going down the chimney and coming up. Some of you don't even have chimney. Let's get old. Come on, let's keep it real. And that's the thing we feed our kids. We feed them this fantasy so long, it's hard to break it as an adult. It's hard to get them to see, like, man, come on.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You making super, super amazing points. You really are. I'm laughing because it's just your delivery is a little entertaining, but truth in it as well, which sometimes is needed to get the message across. But honestly, the reason why church is so important to us is because it was either church or work. That was our one day that we got off. Of course, if you slaving 6 days a week, and then on Sunday you allowed to go to church, you're going to hold on to that. That's your refuge. It was the one place where we could go and get a break from the hot sun, or get a break from being raped, or get a break from being beat. Sunday was the day they gave us. So Sunday became everything to us. They allowed us to dance sometimes. They allowed us to have, our rituals. We was allowed to cook for sit amongst our families. That was the one day. So it just became so special to us out of desperation and out of, I don't know if you ever been to prison, but I know that, for example, Family Day in the feds is a big deal. They open up the compound and let our families actually come onto the prison grounds, not the visiting room, the prison ground, and they can bring umbrellas, like to sit under. They can bring blankets. They can bring food. Now, we eat terrible prison food all year long. And then that one day on Family Day, they can bring outside food in. It's one day. So let's take it a little bit and put it in the context or paradigm of being a slave, and Family Day being every Sunday, right? Family, the first generation know what's up. The first generation knows this is some bullshit. But it's the children that come up on that day that really think this day means something, that now pass this information on, because it's the one day where you get to be different. As a prisoner, if I had to become a Family Dayist, I would have converted. If that was the only way that I was going to get to keep Family Day, I would have been a Family Dayist, and that would have been my religion. I would have known what's up. I'm doing this to have time with my family. But let's say I had children in the prison too. I gave birth in prison. That child's going to come up not taking Family Day as for what it is. They're going to take it serious. This is that day. This is the day that the Lord has made, right? I'm going to die. This child is going to come up, have more children, and it's going to be embedded in the culture. And it's going to be, guess what? We might have been hungry all week, all year. And then coincidentally on Family Day, it rains. Family Day, bring the rain when we had a drought. Oh, now I'm a witness, because I know that we didn't have no access to crops and it was a drought. And then on Family Day, it rained. Now, you might have started off in your family hearing little things about Family Day. That's just something we do but now the rain, it came on Family Day. So I'm a believer, right? Even though it just happened to be whatever day of the week that it was, and it happened to rain. But now I'm able to validate my belief system because something so-called miraculous happened to happen. I mean, a devil worshiper could ask the devil for something and they get it, and now they solidified their belief. It doesn't matter. As long as something that made you feel good happened on that day, now it validated your belief system. So I'm saying this to say, in our defense, while we so into the church, is because we have generations and generations and generations. Remember, 400 years. There's a lot of Sundays in 400 years. So you have all of that. When slavery is over, they don't got to do the work no more. That Sunday is already embedded in our hearts, and we think it means something. And can't nobody take it from us, because guess what? My grandmama healed from her illness on Sunday. Yep, when we was at the church. I mean, it's just time and impacting us over time. So Sunday became special to us, not because it was from the heavens and God made it special. It's because these white folks that had us enslaved gave us a day off. And all of the things that happened throughout the week that we may not have been able to notice while we got to sit still on Sunday, it was like, oh, Sunday. That's it. It's that simple. You know, that's it.
Yeah. And that's why I don't attack people's religion, because and it's embedded in them. And I always say small doses with people, because we could present to them a million facts, but that's not going to change their mind. That's not how the mind works. You know what I mean? So I think experiences change people.
I'm sorry, the comments is going too crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm sad because I really can't see the comments right now.
No, I'm sorry, I just couldn't hold it. The nigga said, nigga said, y'all don't know my Jesus. Nigga Rasta said, yo, pause. I don't know my. That's one of the. He's one of those guys. Y'all don't know my Jesus.
But I want to share an experience with you guys, because I haven't dated in a while, but any experience I had in the past, like in early 20s, when I tried to date Christian men, I'm gonna be honest, out of all the people I've ever attempted to date, the Christian men were the most, how could I put it? They were the most disrespectful. They had this idea in their head that the woman was under them. They talked disrespectfully. They got physical. Like it's just like the whole experience was very strange. And I'll even give you a real example that happened to me. This one guy even went so far as to stalk me, and then like his friend was a cop, right? So his friend ended up getting him to stop eventually by helping me get this restraining order. I would have never did it on my own, but his friend said this was very necessary. So we had to go to court for this. And
wow,
it was granted for, I think, 2 years. But once we got there, this is a true story. And I'm not saying every Christian is like this. I'm just giving you my experience with this guy. So the judge he reads off all the things that this guy did to me. And then he reads off all the places the guy was stalking me. And then the judge says, did you do all of these things? And you know what he said? He said, yeah, but I already made my peace with the Lord, and I'm already forgiven in my heart. So therefore, I mean, I already know that I'm good and that I should be fine. And the judge goes, first of all, the whole court, because it's a court full of people waiting for their turn, they were just laughing. But I mean, the judge is like, sir, you need to get checked out mentally. You need to go to counseling. And not only that, don't you ever come next to this woman ever again. But he thought in his mind that because he was Christian, that and his God forgives him, that is his excuse to live a certain way. And I think a lot of Christians, not all Christians, so don't attack me, a lot of Christians use their religion as an excuse to continue behavior that they should not be doing, because they have an out that I'm going to be forgiven. God is going to forgive me, so I could do this. Matter of fact, I could eat myself to death. God will forgive it. Yep. I could overspend. God will forgive it. I could not raise my kids properly. God will forgive it. You know,
so my cousin
I could steal, lie, cheat, kill. God will forgive it.
No, but as long as you repent, right?
As long as you repent, and that all I have to do is say, Lord, in my heart, I'm sorry, forgive me, and I started all over. And that's the part that is really unrealistic, because there's no starting over. Life is life. You're not just starting over, okay? And I think that's the part that's like the Disney fantasy for some Christians. Some Christians, you heard I said some Christians. That's the Disney fantasy that they could do anything on the face of the earth, but we all could do it, but only they're going to get forgiven because only their God forgives. And then they could do it again tomorrow and be forgiven again tomorrow. And it doesn't matter what it is.
That's like a key to do whatever you want, to open any door you want.
Yes.
Like if you got that in the back of your mind, you can always use that as an excuse for the rest of your life.
That's what I don't like. Yes.
Yo, my cousin was like that. So I asked him a question one day. He's Christian, right? He's hard body, Jesus. I said, yo, bro, you mean to tell me that if a guy rapes a baby and he raped babies his whole life, but he knows that one day that he can be forgiven if he repent, then he's going to heaven, but I'm going to hell because I don't believe in Jesus. He's going to heaven and I'm not. He said, he acted like he didn't want to answer the question. I said, answer it. He said, no, but he got to repent, not just repent. I said, what the fuck does that mean? He got to repent. I said, well, he got to repent twice. I don't get it. Like, what does that mean? Like, I thought repent is only one meaning for repent. Like, repent is another meaning, like something different now. One thing I know about Christians, I'm not gonna bite my tongue on this. They use every excuse in the book to justify their book. Every single thing they justify with it's actually annoying. Y'all are really fucking annoying. Like man, look, y'all. I swear, bozo of the. I would not stop giving bozo of the days if I could with y'all, man. Wait a minute, one more thing. King Me Now, you real tight inside the comments. You calling people gay and fags. You shouldn't be, you know what I mean? Because they said, not my Jesus. You know what I mean? Because you the one who said it, not my Jesus. Don't be calling people names. Talk about not my Jesus. Get the fuck out of here. Yo, come on, y'all gotta stop, man.
I cannot.
But when you actually study the Bible and you look at Jesus' life, right? Jesus was gay. When you look at
I
gotta hear this one. You ain't the only person who said that. Young Pharaoh did a whole joint.
I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna mute myself.
Okay,
I want to hear this one.
These are facts. These are facts. These are facts. It's written right there in front of you.
Well, give us the verse. Give us the verse.
King David is gay. So let's take for instance, right? Remember before Jesus died. I can't remember the scripture off the top of my head. It's in the Gospel of John. John is the one that Jesus loved most out of his disciples. He laid on Jesus' bosom. What is a bosom? Another man lays on another man's chest? Come on.
That's a stretch, man. Come on.
No, it's not stretching. It's whoa. It's not stretching.
Go look up Young Pharaoh explains Jesus gay on YouTube. I bet they took his page.
It's not a stretch. See, Pete, this is what people do. They don't look at it for what it's worth. If your man is laying on another, if you walk in and you see your man laying down on the fucking ground, laying on another man's chest, what is it? What is it? Forget that he's Jesus. He's just another man. You mean that you just gonna just say, oh nah, that's just Jesus. I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah, that's God. So you got it.
Come on, no.
Hey, let's take the emotion out of it and let's use a real life perspective. I come home and and I see my man laying on another man's chest on the floor. I'm probably gonna kindly, go upstairs, get my stuff and walk out the door. And that's gonna be it. That's just the honest truth. I mean, I think I think that sometimes when we use the name Jesus, people, it like you said, it eliminates a lot of things that we would look at one way. We don't look at it when it comes to religion. I definitely feel that I almost feel bad for Jesus. I kind of feel like Jesus was just used in so many ways to fulfill a colonialistic, imperialistic agenda. You know what I mean? Jesus was very clear about calling other men God like him. And I think that was the problem. They did not like the fact that this man you know, looking homely, walking around a certain way, probably, you know, nice little brownness going on, telling people that you could be a god like me. I don't think they like that too much. So I think that everything they could have possibly done, if they could have wiped Jesus out of history, they probably would have. But I think that the power of the idea that man is God was so strong. All right, so we can't get rid of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to twist it and turn it to make it work for us as best as possible. Because Jesus studied with the Essenes. If you're familiar with the Essenes, you know, that's in many of the books that were taken out of the Bible. This is a very powerful person, you know, as far as having knowledge of self, you know. Like for me, one of my favorite people, a lot of people don't like him. I love Farrakhan. I think he's a dope teacher. You know, there's a lot of things that he says that I really like, the delivery. And I think that he's made a lot of mistakes, but I think as he gets older, you kind of see some of the righteousness, like the correction of things that he did that, you know, maybe weren't the best decisions that he's spoken publicly on. And I really like his message. But at the same time, you know, if he died tomorrow, there's so many things that people can say that may or may not be true. So it's like Jesus is not here to defend himself. And I think that, you know, somebody who's given people the power to be creators of their own universes, that's a powerful thing. These Europeans have made a living, have gotten themselves to a certain level by playing on the lack of information that we've had access to. And I think that for them to take Jesus, an African, because we already know that the part of the world that they say he was from, without colonialism carving it up, that would have been considered Africa. You can't have other black men thinking they can move like him. You just can't have it and have them in power at the same time. Black man as God is not going to work with them trying to enslave our minds and our bodies. Somebody got to be the martyr. Somebody got to be the one to say, look, yeah, he was great, but it's only him. You mother effers can't be like that. Just worship him. Just get on your knees, you know, SHD, SMD, SHD. You can't do it. Only he can. And that's going to make you feel you less than. If we knew who we really were or who we really are, they couldn't do half the shit they do to us. So religion and Jesus plays a big part in that, in my opinion, of making you feel like he's the singularity, you know, he's an anomaly. You are so far removed from that. He's perfect. He's without sin. He's amazing. You're not like that.
And he was born without a father. He's just so different. Like, get the
yo. You know, I think if
man,
right now Jesus be like, yo, man, they got me fucked up. I feel like that's what he would say. They done took my and look, do y'all forget who killed me? The Romans and the Jews conspired. They killed him. And I'm not talking about, you know, they killed this person. Why? Why y'all was so thirsty to get rid of this person? What was the threat? You know, I feel like
is this verse true? Where he said Genesis 24:9, the Abrahamic oath, putting your hands under his thigh. What is that?
I don't
So
know that.
what he's explaining is that same thing young Pharaoh broke down about the thigh thing. Now another man taking an oath, and it's all throughout the Bible, of putting their hands on another man's thigh. What if you put your hand on? Excuse my language, but I'm just saying this. This is just an example. This is the thing. These are the things that you need to put a magnify on when they say things like that. If another man put their hand on another man's thigh, what is he touching?
His phallus.
Thank you. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. They overlook these things throughout the Bible. That's just like when Jesus said he's coming back, right? He said he's coming back on.
I'm gonna read it.
Huh?
I'm gonna read it to you. I'm gonna start at 8. If the woman is unwilling to come back with you, then you will be released from this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there. Okay, 24:9. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore an oath to him concerning this matter. Then the servant left, taking with him 10 of his master's camels loaded with all kinds of good things from his master. I gotta look into this because
Well, honestly, if you put your hand under the thigh, that's more closer to the booty hole.
yo,
It's some
right
gay
under
stuff.
the thigh, under the thigh. Well, you're right. It's both. It's both. It's right there. You're right. Under the thigh, both is right
let's
there.
get
This is crazy conversation, but it's in the book.
That's just like Saul. Saul told. I may not be saying it right, but you'll get my point. Because when I read the book of David back when I was a deacon, I was like, huh? I'm scratching my head, but I'm ignoring it because I'm like, how can a man love another man more than a woman? It ain't no man on this planet that I love more than a woman. I got a son. I got a father. My father transitioned, but hey, when it comes to a woman, no sir. hey,
I know
look, my mom at the top, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying. But the point is that with David, he goes and cut off 100 foreskins, right? No. Saul told him to go cut 100 foreskins. He go cut 200 foreskins. What heterosexual man will go and do that?
Wait. What you mean foreskin?
You know what foreskin is? That's all. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know, I'm another man. Like what are they doing?
Yo, nah, hold up. This what get me so mad. Like, because if I believe in something, I'm gonna point out the contradictions in it and like, you know what? I believe in this part, but I ain't gonna lie, this part I don't agree with. I'm not gonna bring them up, but y'all be up here and y'all never bring this up. Why y'all never brought up? I never heard this before. Why y'all never brought up the foreskin thing? Because y'all know it's suspect. Y'all know it's suspect. King me now. King me now. In the comments, explain the foreskins. I dare you. Chop. Please, chop. What? Explain it. In the comments, you keep talking, bro. I want to see him explain in the comments.
Hocus, you're not going to convert any of these Christians.
They not.
I just want him to explain it. I want to see how they're going to explain him going to cut the foreskins.
They're
Him touching. So I mean, he had to grab his penis and he had to. I'm not going to animate it, but.
They gonna find some excuse. It is what it is. That's why I don't touch on it. It's a way. It doesn't.
Foreskin was a disease. Come on, man.
I told you.
Oh my God, man.
He just read the comments. I'm sad about that. It's a waste of time.
Well, but see, this that's a person that wants to tap dance. It clearly says even when David killed Goliath, he was uncircumcised. What does uncircumcised mean? What is an uncircumcised man? What do they do? That's where uncircumcision comes from.
You know what that reminds me of? You know, like when people say that they don't see color, and they say, "Oh, everybody's the same. We don't see color. Racism doesn't exist," because that's their reality. That's what they believe, right? They're not good. No matter what, you could give them a million facts of how that's not true, but if that's what they want to believe, that's what they want to believe. Like, I'm not going to try to convince this person otherwise. I'm just not going to do it. I love to watch you guys do it. I'm just not.
That's important.
I don't want to convince. I just want them to explain it because I want
that they're going to say they'll just find opposition in everything.
You're right.
Because you're basing it on logic, but obviously it's not logical. So why would we combat them with logic when they're not being logical? It doesn't make sense.
Somebody's trying to explain circumcision, right? Most men were circumcised, you're right, but as kids, like if he told to go, what's the purpose of him going to go circumcise them as grown ass men? See, like you said, it's not logical, and y'all still trying y'all get on my nerves, man.
That's what they did throughout the entire Old Testament. They went and uncircumcised grown men Who does that? Who? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They going into the village, pillaging the whole village, killing off the village. They rape the women and then uncircumcise the men. Who? Come on. Come on.
So
Really?
Asha, if you had sons, would you have them circumcised today?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my battery's low. I probably would not. Because I was reading something recently, that men that are circumcised, they have a lot less pleasure. A lot of different things happen that I don't think that I have the right to take that away. Like it's like female circumcision, same thing. Like I don't think that I have the right to cut anything off of anybody's body without their permission. A lot of times parents, they do stuff and it's like, the child is not, when they get older, they can't get that skin back, right? It's not really their choice. They tell us it's for cleanliness, this and that, but it's really religious. It's really a Jewish custom that got passed down that everybody started doing. My little brother was not circumcised, and I used to change his diaper, and I was taught properly how to clean him. How to pull the skin back. There's a way that you clean. So it's not like it's impossible. I mean, I just think that it's a little bit invasive. I think, I didn't always feel like that, but after I got older, and it's like, damn, you just cutting off. So like, it's like doing that to a girl. If they said like, circumcising a girl was for her cleanliness, but then she don't have no pleasure. That was her her given right. Who are you to just mutilate someone? So I get it, the reasons why they say they do it, but we were born, like, it's no different than saying like, it's like perming your hair. Because it's easier to manage. It's easier to manage if I perm my hair because it's softer and it's straight. But who are you to make that decision to change someone's body? That's a decision that you're supposed to make on your own, So I probably would not do it.
I actually agree with that. And that's why I go back to logic, because it's what makes sense to me. And logically, what you just said makes sense to me. And I know everybody's not going to agree with it, right? So my job is not to convert people, to convince people. I'm going to get with somebody that thinks in the same manner in that aspect. And it's like, okay, how can we build on it?
Now,
So what is
sis,
I want to know what the men think, though, honestly.
but sis, if you had asked me that and you gave me some medical facts that really check out, I'm not stuck one way. Like, that's the thing. Like I said, I'm always teachable. Like, like it would have to really make sense to me. But I'm not the type of person that's like, nope, nope. Like, I'm going to listen first. Like, the problem I have with Christians and a lot of religious people, they don't even want to listen. They just want to shut you down and not listen to the facts. But you can't really debate facts with somebody who's moving off of faith.
Exactly.
I have faith that a unicorn going to be in my living room in 2 seconds. What does that mean? It's not based on nothing but a deep-seated need to believe something. Well, when you come in with facts, you have limits with facts, right? When you deal with faith and imagination, it's unlimited. So you can't really win. If it's like numbers 1 through 10, that's the numbers. But a person that is basing things off of things unseen, they can come up with words and things that don't even really exist and have an unlimited response for you because it's not based on fact. So really, when people who are factual and intellectual have conversations with people who are faith-driven or belief-driven and not fact-driven, it's like we on land and they in water. It's like,
yeah, but I think you have to have balance. Honestly,
Balance.
you do, because honestly, the way I operate in logic, absolutely, but I also operate in faith and belief in myself, not in any outside force, but absolutely, I have that faith and belief in myself. But logic will never leave the picture for me, ever. And even just saying that, when I was very religious, I said when I had my son, he'll definitely be circumcised. He would have to be circumcised. Like, anything else is just disgusting and it's unsanitary, because that's how we were conditioned to think and believe. But my mind changed as I changed, and I still don't have any sons yet. but hopefully I will in the future. And
Let
it's
me
like
They say
I
they
feel
look.
like
I forgot how many thousands, hundreds of thousands of nerve endings when that happens. So who are you to take a sensory away from somebody? You know what I mean? Like,
let me
and
let me answer it, right?
I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
answer it, but I also want to add that whoever I have that son with, what he thinks will definitely be highly impacted in that. But like I said, I want to have these conversations so we don't wait until after the fact. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, go ahead. I want to know what the men think for sure.
Well, I got a 2-year-old son, and he's not circumcised because in order to circumcise him, they got to give him the vitamin K shot. And yes, I am anti all that. None of those. My two youngest have never bit no apples, none whatsoever. Perfectly functioning, healthy kids. Have If it wasn't for that, yes, I would have got him circumcised. I'm not gonna lie to you because I am indoctrinated in that way. I don't have a real excuse to be like I could because of some scientific fact. It's just to me, I am, and as a man, I like the way mines look like that, and I'm just being honest. So I would have
And that's my
I would have
point.
done it.
And that's my point. Sorry, go ahead.
I would have done it for him, but wasn't with that shot. Now afterwards, we could have still got it for him, but they was talking about this they was talking about putting him under anesthesia at like 8 months. My sister actually did it without the a couple months later her son got circumcised without the vitamin K shot. She did the anesthesia and everything, but my baby mom's was too afraid. Like she was looking up on it and it was saying like the baby could die. You know how you start reading stuff on Google. She was just like, nah, I don't want to put my son under anesthesia. And I was like, okay, like you know what I mean. He just don't get circumcised. Like I'm not gonna say no, do it, and then something happens under anesthesia. When I'm a naturalist at the same time. I'm just like, damn. When I teach him how to pee, he gonna be like, Daddy, why mine look like that? Yours look like that.
that's a small.
Now,
That's a small thing for the bigger picture. When you explain, like, I wanted you to have the choice. It's your body. You know what I mean? That means more. It's like respecting somebody's body. What if you get to a certain age and you realize something was cut off of you that you like, damn, then I'm telling
after the explanation, I wholeheartedly agree with you, and I like that explanation. Like I think if in the future if I did have more sons, it would just be no from the gate, and I like you learn something. You could take on something new at any point in your life, and right here was like a pivotal point in hearing that, and I was like, yo, I jacked that. So the answer would just be no, even if it was a vitamin K shot, no vitamin K shot involved, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and not to make about that, but they say that the sensation during sex is better for men that aren't circumcised because there's all those extra nerve endings. I mean, you have them for a reason. So it's like kind of like like the female circumcision thing is crazy. They don't feel anything, and for a long time they have a lot of pain. And it's like they made the decision that this is what's best when they're babies. I have a cousin who married a Nigerian guy, and she was pregnant, and he wanted her to have the baby in Nigeria. And she refused because in his tribe, they do female circumcision. And she was like, hell no. But to him, it was normal. Like, this is what happens. So it's like, when you look at it from that perspective, that's kind of crazy. It's like if cutting off a toe because society has, you don't need 5 toes, you need 4.
What do they cut on a female? I'm sorry, I'm ignorant to this. What do they cut on a female?
They cut the clitoris.
Get the fuck, they do?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to add, we don't even have to go to that extreme mutilation, which definitely still happens in many countries today. We could just go to young women who are getting all these surgeries now, who don't understand that when they get the breast implants, that a lot of them lose the nerves and the sensation in their nipples, and they cannot feel that anymore. And a lot of them can attest to that because they're doing it for aesthetics, right? But then you're also taking away pleasure and feeling in that area for aesthetics. Like, so you got, so we don't even have to go to mutilation. We could just go to just simple surgery that you don't.
Sorry.
Yo, Locksmith in the building. Balance. What up, Locksmith?
That's why I'm
What's
laughing.
up, man?
Exactly what I'm laughing. Like,
Did he say something? Or
He said, what did I just walk into?
No, it's true though. So, but a lot of the young girls don't know, and they're going to get these surgeries as because when you're 18, you can get the surgery. You know what I mean? So they're going to get these surgeries at 18, 19, 20. I've been on TikTok crazy because it's like I'm learning so much on TikTok, but there's so many young girls on there that have got BBLs and they got their butts and breasts done to look aesthetically pleasing to a man, but they don't understand what that's physically doing to their body because they didn't do research, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have knowledge of self, and they don't have the information of not only how that affects your body long term, but how it affects you now. Now, a lot of them don't have any
They
feeling in their nipples. They cannot feel that sensation anymore.
Well, like you said, long term is a key point
Long
because
term is
we
everything.
don't really have no long term studies of what's happening to the people who like 30, 40 years from now, we're gonna know like, oh, was that a good idea or a bad idea? Like, and I think it's gonna be more on the bad idea side, you know?
Yeah, but all right. I'm sorry. I gotta hear what he gotta say. Let me shut up.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was getting ready to say, I never even looked into it. It's something that I probably need to research. But to be honest with you, I wish my mom didn't have me circumcised. I'm being honest with you. Just this real talk. I remember when my son was born and we got him circumcised a few days after he was born, and his mother was like real upset because, you know, he was real sensitive down there, the pamper and all of this and that, blah, blah, blah. So I told myself at that moment that if I have another son, that I would never, ever do that again because, you know, it really irritated him as a baby. And as a man, we already know we sensitive down there. You feel what I'm saying? So I say that to say this is that I personally believe that the Europeans knew that the black men were longer than them, so that was a way for them to chop off some of their tree. You understand what I'm saying? To make them shorter. That's what I personally believe. I don't see. To me, I
oh,
understand that I understand. This is what Grace explained to you. I understand that we all have to clean that area. It has to be clean, period. Whether you uncircumcised or circumcised. But I would rather be uncircumcised
I feel you.
because it's natural. And like what she said, like I would never be able to experience that. Like, you know, I don't have my share, but what would it be like? What would it be like if I wasn't? What would it be like to experience them other sensations? You understand what I'm saying?
Somebody took that from you before you were able to make the decision.
Yep.
This is how, when people file for sovereignty, how it works. Because sovereignty is, my parents signed my birth certificate, actually gave away me as an actual commodity to the United States government without my permission because I was included at this time. That should apply to everything. You chopping off parts of my body
That
without my permission.
and that's logic. That's logic. That's for everything. Everything. And people act like it's just certain things. No, that goes
Yes.
for everything. So that's how I think.
Okay.
I think in a very holistic. I can't see the comments, but I think in a very holistic way. And I think people need to stop disconnecting everything. Everything's connected always.
And also, sis, do you know that in some extreme Jewish cultures, that when they circumcise newborn Jewish boys, that the rabbi sucks the pee, the blood out?
Give them the bobbles, the Neckington off the rip.
They do.
And that's legal, but let them do that. Let somebody
No
do that
comment.
right after they walk out of there. They're gonna take them and lock them up. That's legal though. They
But
suck it out. They
think about it. Who sits there and think of
Think
this
about
shit?
that.
Who
Right.
sits there and think of this?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yo, the
Exactly.
good book said they could do it, so they do it.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
also
So
allowed to give his daughters a way to be raised.
Yes.
It also allowed for
It
slave.
allows him to sleep with his daughter. It allows him to wear his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I always bring that one up,
And
and they
slave
like to
with
justify
their
that one.
masters. You know, it also allowed for just a whole lot of craziness, like a whole lot of craziness. So I mean,
That's why I don't touch it.
who lives like that? People actually refer to this as a way to validate their points, and it's like, do you know what was going on in this book? And you referring to this? You know what? One of the worst stories to me that people refer to
What?
is when people talk about this, what did they say when he was tested, when Abraham took his son and God told him to kill him.
Oh yeah.
That is really a sick story. It's a sick story. Also, the other story that was kind of crazy was when people always talk about, oh, he was tested. Oh, now I'm drawing a blank, and I know this stuff like the back of my hand. But anyway, the devil was telling him to do one thing, then God was telling him to do another, then he was going back and forth, back and forth. You know, God, in the way that we were taught that God exists, doesn't have to test your loyalty because your heart would be known. So in the Bible, there's always these stories where somebody's loyalty was tested. If I'm God, I already know your loyalty. I don't have to test you. You know who has to test you? Another man that can't see into your soul, that needs to physically see where your loyalty lies. That lets you know that these things are all human stories about human testimonies and human testaments, and they try to validate it by using God, by using God as this and God as that. When really it's just you as a man. Here's an example. The story of Moses. People in church tell you have faith, have blind faith. And I say, Moses ain't have blind faith. Moses was talking to a burning bush, and the burning bush told him, go into Egypt and tell Pharaoh, let your people go. And what did Moses say? How am I supposed to do that? He said, oh, take that stick and throw it down, and it's going to be a snake, and it's going to scare them and let them, release your people. And Moses said, oh, really? Show me. And he had to show it first and prove it before Moses was willing to go into Egypt. So what does that say? Even Moses, one of the most revered people in the whole Bible, didn't believe in faith. He needed facts. He's like, I'm not going all the way to Egypt with this stick that I'm supposed to throw down. And
I didn't even know that happened, right? I just want to say that I just want to ask a question, right? For the Bible believers that's in the audience. Do y'all really believe that a stick turned into a snake? Like, do y'all wholeheartedly believe that? I just gotta know. I know. I know what you say, Balance. Like, yo, the logic is gonna. Y'all believe a stick turned into a snake, man?
No,
like,
I mean, it's
do they
metaphor. Nobody. I don't think anybody believes it. I mean, people do.
Yo,
they believe.
Let's wait. I bet you they do.
They believe everything. Now, get what I'm going to explain to you. You take the Atlantic Ocean, you take the Pacific Ocean. Water been sitting there for millions of years. He clear it out for 10 minutes and they walk on mud. You know how hard it is for a million people to walk on mud, to cross it? That's impossible. It's impossible.
I'm not having this debate with y'all.
Balance, I will get over this one. You got to ask questions though. It's okay to ask questions.
I didn't say it was wrong. I just told you my stance on it. People gonna believe what they want to believe, and they got that right.
Oh, I'm going to explain to you too.
Yo, somebody mentioned.
They talk about.
He said the difference. God moved differently back then. Yo, that's really an answer. Like he said, God moved differently back then.
That's not what the Bible says.
That's a real answer though. Like that's a human being just answered that and really believed that. I can't believe this. Like, this is crazy.
Get what I'm going to explain to you. This is we're gonna make a little logic out of it, and then I got another point I want to make. If you go to your largest body of water that's near you, and they split it, and it just holds up on both sides, and you walk across, do you know what it's like walking across in mud? It's like quicksand. It's like quicksand.
Wait, that's not a metaphor? Wait. They really think he spread the ocean? That's not a metaphor?
Some people believe it really happened. Some people believe that you know, metaphor, parable, whatever, you know.
The only way I could say that is true is if that he used some type of technology back then, and that we probably never heard that was created and maybe did it. But just y'all gotta stop, man. Y'all really gotta stop, with this. People that believe in this
No,
book,
but
I'm sorry, y'all gotta stop, man.
the story of Job. The story of Job is so grimy to me. It's God, right? The Lord and Satan having a debate about Job's loyalty. And basically, God told Satan, go ahead, test Job. I guarantee you that he's loyal to me. And Satan is basically like, yeah, I could break him. And it's like God allows Satan to fuck with Job in the worst way, do all these terrible things to him just to be able to say, I told you he was loyal to me. I mean, what kind of sick story is that? Like, why? First of all, you're putting God and Satan on the same level, right? If God is the creator of all things, according to what they're saying, how is he able to have this conversation with Satan and battle him in this way? Isn't he his subordinate based on what they teach? So how is that they even having this battle? Even there's another story of Jacob. Jacob wrestled with God and beat him up. According to the story of Jacob, if anybody's familiar with Jacob wrestled with God and won. These things don't even make any logical sense. How can somebody wrestle with God and win? How you beat up God? That just doesn't make any sense.
They about to make up. They about to tell you in the audience. they about to
God on
tell you,
deck.
man.
But
Yo,
the good thing about it is that one thing I realized about religious people, especially Hebrews, they not going to go live and talk. They'll talk in the comments. They'll tap dance that, but they just don't want to. They don't want to use logic. So let's use this for instance. I'm glad I can tell you and I on the same frequency because you went right into the story of Moses without me even mentioning it. So, and that's where I was getting ready to go when I wanted to interject. So get what I'm going to explain to you. They tell us that the Bible gives us free will, right? But how come when Moses kept going to the Pharaoh, God kept hardening the Pharaoh's heart? Why did he have to harden the Pharaoh's heart
Mm-hmm.
if he has free will? Why are you like? It's like God playing both sides. He telling you to go to the car dealer to get the car. I gave you the money to get it, but you get to the car dealer and the car dealer salesman is like, nah, you ain't got enough, man. You got to come back another day. But God sent Moses there. He sent them there, but he hardens the car dealer's heart not to give you what you want. It doesn't make logical sense.
And he gave you the money and the good credit to go in there with. It's proof. These stories don't make logical sense.
balance said they not moving off logic. They moving off belief. The book said it. It gotta be true. It's just because it said it. That's it. There's no other. It said it. It's in there. It's written in there. So it's true.
It's called blind faith. That's
I
what
tell
it's
you,
called.
my book, his book lasted 2,000 years. My shit gonna last 15. My shit gonna
I
be
love
watch.
it.
I aspire. I'm inspired. Though. I aspire to be greater than him. Because like he said, I would do greater things. I want my name to live longer than Jesus' name. So
So write
I'm
that
wrong
book.
for that.
Write that
Blasphemy.
book. No, write the book. Write the book. I support
Well,
it.
you know what? Empires last, 2,000 to 4,000 years. At one time the whole world was talking about Zeus. At one time the whole world was talking about all these different Greek gods. Now you mention Zeus, you looked at crazy. Nobody even says it anymore. The same thing is gonna happen over time. There's gonna be a time in the future to be like, remember back then when the people they used to worship Jesus? Remember, it's gonna be somebody new, something new. I mean, this is just the way that the world works. Empires and great names are erected and they fall. Great names are erected and they fall. There's so many gods that you don't really hear of anymore. And it's just that this is the God name that. Do you know where the word amen comes from?
I'm in Ra.
That's right.
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 Mm-hmm.
And then in Egypt, you had different pharaohs who had different requirements. And at this time, Amen required that anything you wanted, you had to say his name after. So what happens? Because Egypt was one of the great pillars of the world, you know, it was like trendsetters. So after you wanted something, you would say Amen, the first part of his name. And then it became the end of after a prayer. What is a prayer? Prayer is a wish. So you would say a name. So people don't even know when they say amen, they really talking to an Egyptian pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
And don't even know it. So it's like, you know, people move off of trends. It's the same story with the lady with the pots. You know, you following, but you don't really know why. And if you follow the story back to the origin, you be like, oh, that's why I'm doing that? That's why I'm saying? You almost feel stupid. You know what I mean? So,
You know, I want to point out some hypocrisy right now, right? Just in this comment alone of the Christian believers, right? So this person, Kia Hudgens, I pinned it purposely. I was saying it doesn't make sense, right? And she says, this is her exact words. It does make sense because they are metaphors and examples of situations that may parallel with things we may go through today. So what y'all Christians like to do is take, oh, that's just an example. But what about Jesus being born without a mother? I mean, without a father. That's not a metaphor and example. What about Adam and Eve? Like she broke down the Anunnaki, how that's not a metaphor and example. Y'all take what y'all want to use as metaphor and examples. In the Bible, it says okay for a father to marry and bed his daughter. Okay, that means have sex with his daughter. That's just a metaphor and example. What a clown face. Get out of here. Unpin that comment. Get out of here. Y'all want it when it's convenient, relevant for y'all. It's a metaphor and example. But when y'all want to believe in y'all own, oh no, Jesus wasn't. He didn't have a father. It was immaculate. God said, "Poof, get out of here. Get out of here."
That's just like with I think it's in Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Where a man can rape a woman, pay the father 50 cents to marry her. The rapist can marry the
No,
person
that's an
he
example,
raped.
bro. King, that's an example. That's only a parallel in an example. It's an example.
But
Watch.
then,
They coming.
but then, see, I don't wish this on nobody because rape is one of the worst things that I know can happen to women. I've had women in my family that that have shared what has happened to them, and it hurts. You understand what I'm saying? And I always say, if a man try me with my goddamn daughter, is a rap.
not
He
just
gonna
a
see.
woman being raped, period. Men get raped.
Yeah,
It
right.
happens in
Yeah,
prison. It
but
happens. That's just the worst violation, you know? Like,
now, get what I'm saying? Why, if he was able to create 10 commandments, now come on, this is logic. Why was rape not there? Why was rape not a part of the commandments?
that is a
Why
question
was
I asked from the
why
kids.
was
Say that one more. Can you say that one more time so the
why
people
was
in the
rape
back can hear?
not part of the commandments? Why was slavery not a part of the commandments? God knew what the psychological effect. He knows humans. He created them supposedly, right? He has to know the psychological thing that is the damaging that is going to do to people. He has to know it. So why allow it? Why allow it? Now, get what I'm going to explain to
That's
you.
a
You're gonna take
great
it. You can take.
question
You
about
can
rape
take it. You
commandment.
can take it whatever way you want to take it. But the truth is that this proves that Christians don't read because the Bible teaches slavery. It teaches you how to own a slave.
Mm-hmm.
No, but you know, I heard them say, right? This is not an example, right? But that's not an example, right, y'all? Anyway, I heard them say, "Oh, that was slaves. That's another word for workers back then. Those are workers." Yo, these people, I'm telling you, man, it's just like, ooh, this head is hot, man. I
If
swear.
people could be as loyal to their people as they are to a religion, we would be so much further. If people could defend their brother and sisters the way they defend religion, something that was thousands of years before they was even thought of, if they could defend their fellow person the way they defend that, we would be so much further. So much
So,
further.
and I wanted to say this. Is what I've been trying to say. It kept slipping my mind. I know that I'm a good man, right? But like me trying to date a Christian woman. A Christian woman to go date a man that's a rapist, a man that's a murderer, a man that's a thief has a better chance of dating a Christian woman or religious woman because what? She wants to be equally yoked. I've been married twice. Both of my ex-wives were Christians, and it still didn't work. So I don't base anything on religion no more, period. I'm not your religion is something that you can hide behind when you want to get away with something. Or you don't want to live up to what you claim that you are. You're hiding behind it. So what I basically do, I'm in it for who you are. I want to see who you are at the core and the essence of who you are. What are your morals? What are your values? What do you actually believe in other than religion? Religion don't mean nothing to me anymore. But it also shows me how brainwashed that a woman can be. If she's so brainwashed where she praising him and praising him and praising him, and I'm sitting back like, huh? I can't do it. I can't do it with somebody that's religion. I don't mind you believing in what you believe in, but I'm not going to allow you to sit here and say you're going to pray over me, and then I'm looking at your circumstances and your circumstances and your situation. And then you got to look at it like this. Religious people really believe that prayer works. If prayer works, I guarantee you there are over hundreds of millions. It's probably in the billions of prayer right now. It's in the billions of prayer of people that want to keep their jobs, that don't want to take the jab. At this moment, prayer's going all up, but guess what? You got the slave getting beat by the slave master, praying to God, saying, make my slave do what I tell him. And the slave is saying, God, please stop him from beating me. Who prayer gets answered?
Huh. You know what? You
prayer
talking
get
some
answered?
real shit. You talking some real
Yo, for
shit.
real though.
You saying it in a way that you talking real shit.
Who prayer gets answered? That's what you got to look at. And the reason I'm gonna tell you another thing that when I got out of religion, I don't do no begging no more. I used to be begging, asking for this, asking for that. I don't do that no more. Now I manifest.
That's right.
Look, a moon comes up, I say what I need, ask the universe for what I want. I say my mantras throughout the day to keep my frequency high, and that's it. And everything I ask for comes to me. I've had more money being out of religion, being conscious, come to me. I'm just talking about come to me, flow to me. When I was in religion, guess what religion was doing? Taking it. You got to pay 10%. You got it. So everything is about getting into your emotions in church. That's why they come in and sing the choir. The choir gets you emotionally, and then the pastor comes in and swoops in when you get emotionally high, and he whoops and he hollers and say, hey, yeah, you got to pay. You got to give an offering. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to give God this. You got to give. You ain't got. God don't need no money. God does not have a fucking bank account. How the fuck is it 50 churches on one goddamn block and all of them supposed to be collecting money for God, but God is not taking that same money and putting it back into the community? So church is supposed to be like the government of the religion that's supposed to build back into the community, but then when you really do your research, those churches got 501(c)s, which is owned by the government, the same people that killed Jesus.
Okay, you just drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Where they at? They've left the room. Look, they out of here.
Yes. This has been fun, guys. I can't believe I lasted.
Me either. I'm about to take my butt to bed.
Yo, Balance said I'm only gonna stay up for a little while today.
I know. I'm listening, and I'm learning, and I appreciate all of you for being on this live with me. It's been amazing, and I wish you
definitely. I'm happy to have met you. Finally got to kick it with you, Hocus. And what's your name? Drop the mic.
King DNA knowledge.
King DNA knowledge. You taught me a couple
DNA
things
knowledge.
actually. Honestly.
I learned from all of you as well too. I love to listen. I love to learn. Love to educate. I love to share information. You know, I'm open and I'm appreciative of each one of you all. And I'm glad for even the people that was in the comments. I'm not trying to offend anyone on any level. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just look at the logic in it. I look at the facts and I point those out to get our people to wake up. That's my goal. Like I don't have a pulpit, but I use my social media platforms not to chase women. My platforms are there to educate. That's it. Educate, inform, enlighten. That's it. And that's what the universe got me on now.
Yeah,
They might
and I
say
do
you
it
need
in
to
the
change the name
same way.
to drop the mic.
I love to educate as well and teach people and help them to get out of their own bondage. But I just don't touch on religion. It's just not my calling to do that. But I respect all of you and all your callings. And I wish you abundance, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, all the things you're in need of, health, wealth, everything. I just want you guys to win, all right? And I thank y'all for this live. And I'm gonna go to sleep and get some rest. I hope you guys get great rest too.
Yeah,
Dallas,
I'm so tired. I'm
check it
out.
out.
So,
Okay.
yeah, you're ready. So a lot of people in here asking me to save this live. I will be saving this live. What I'm gonna do is post like most of it and on my Instagram page. The full live will be on my YouTube. All right. So make sure y'all go to the YouTube. This is one of the best lives I had in a long, probably the best, but definitely one of the best lives I had in a long time.
Yeah, this
Gotta
was
save this.
fire.
I don't even save live when I go like 4 hours. I don't even save them no more because but this one was filled with too much. Y'all spinning out on me, and I don't want it to end. And because when it just ends, it don't save. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thanks for coming up, Aisha. You know,
Peace.
let's stay connected. You're
Yeah,
ready,
for sure.
bro.
Peace.
It was. Thanks for having me. Peace out. All right.
Peace.
Definitely. Peace, everybody.